What is going on, everybody? It is episode 430 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I am currently being defamed in the chat right now by Phil Labonte. He's an absolute menace, and he's in the room with us right now. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
You feel good about defaming someone?
Yeah.
Feeling real good about yourself right now?
Yeah.
He's dragging this whole debacle onward, telling everyone
Thanks
that Mary
a
doesn't
lot.
love Oliver Anthony.
Anyway, we have a special guest in the studio as well. Christian Toto is back.
Hey,
how you
Last
doing?
time you were here, it was what, January or February?
I think so. Much colder.
It's been a while.
Yeah, thank you for having me back.
Yeah.
And you're going to be with us tomorrow as well.
Yes.
Yes, we got a lot to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about Blue Beetle. If you don't know what that is, I wouldn't blame you. A lot of people don't know what the hell Blue Beetle is. It's a DC movie that's coming out this weekend. The director of the film seems to be doing everything in his power to prevent you from going to see it by giving interview after interview after interview where he talks about literally everything but the movie itself.
He was like, Rachel Zegler, hold my beer.
Yes, which, you know, to be fair, Rachel Zegler's prettier than you, bro. So, like, it ain't going to work that way. So, yeah, you're mid. She's not. So we're going to talk about that. He's promoting this movie with identity politics. Its Rotten Tomatoes review score is in. We're going to compare it to the other DC movies that have come out recently. We're going to get into all of that. We're also going to talk about cancel Disney Plus. The hashtag is trending because the prices on Disney Plus have gone up. Indiana Jones 5 is floundering at the box office to the tune of a $100 million loss. We might even work some Rachel Zegler talk in there because everyone just wants to drag this poor lady. We're also going to talk about the fact that Hollywood doesn't really seem to understand how to learn their lesson. They have a successful movie in Barbie, and instead of understanding that what they need to do is tell stories by women about women rather than taking a bunch of male characters and supplementing them and putting women in their roles, they're just going to make movies about toys and create cinematic universes because Hollywood is full of morons. So we're going to discuss that. We're also going to talk about a gentleman who is he's a billionaire biohacker.
Yeah, he calls himself a biohacker because he believes that he can reverse the aging process by injecting his teenage son's blood plasma.
Yeah.
And guess what? He has some dating troubles.
Hard to believe, right?
So that's shocking.
Yeah. Guys, before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you've not done so already? Remember, all Super Chats, $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read it right then and there, and then we will do our best to get right back on topic. Speaking of which, Mary, there's a $20 one there from Jacob Edler.
Great to see Christian back. Gonna be a good show. Let's get started.
It's like, what do you remember what we talked about? The thing about this show is like it's tied to the news cycle.
Yeah.
So it's like when I was talking to somebody recently, I was like, literally, we've been talking a lot about Airplane Lady, the Tiffany Gomez lady. It's like that was like 5 stories. That was like 5 big stories ago, right? Do you remember what we were talking about?
I don't remember yesterday, so you're going to have to clue me in.
I'm the same.
I have
I'm the
no
same
idea.
way.
Too much.
My brain doesn't work.
Airplane Lady, that was 2011, right? I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of stuff to get into. If you guys are all ready, we will get into it. Phil, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Mary, you ready?
Yes.
Christian. Let's do this. All right, first things first, they could possibly refile charges against Alec Baldwin because now another prosecutor's special investigation says, whoops, he did have to pull the trigger to make this work. Phil?
You do not say. That is
Shocking.
So dumb. So dumb. Of course.
I knew you'd feel strongly about
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
We didn't really need to pull the experts in to tell us that you need to pull the trigger in order for a gun to fire.
But there is like trigger tension tests, right?
Yes. Okay. So there are tension tests to figure out what the weight of the trigger
weight of the trigger
But that
is.
has nothing to do with how you would be using a gun on a set. First of all, and second of all, there is a bit of a pet peeve that I have, so I'm going to rant for like 2 seconds.
Go for it.
Like people love to say, I want to see people that are well trained in using guns, and I want to make sure they're trained for safety and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There are 4 safety rules that you have to learn. And once you know the 4 rules, there's no other safety rules. That's it. Don't point a gun at anyone ever at all. Treat every gun as if it's loaded. Know what's around your target. And what was it, the 4th one? Make sure you're on target and ready to fire before you put your finger on the trigger. Right?
Always
That's
keep
it.
your hand outside the trigger guard.
Yeah.
Finger outside the trigger.
So like if you do those 4 things, that's it. So when you say I want you to get, I want people to be trained. That means training in how to get in a gunfight.
Yeah.
If you show, Stacy minivan what actual training with a gun to employ using a gun looks like, she's gonna be like, that shit's scary.
Yeah.
And she's gonna freak out. So the idea that there was not enough safety training for Baldwin here, that's ridiculous. Because there's 4 rules. That's it. And he broke with 3 of them.
Yeah.
He pointed the gun at something that he didn't want to destroy and ended up destroying it. He put his finger on the trigger when he wasn't on target ready to fire, and he actually pulled the trigger. He was treating it as if it wasn't loaded. I mean, he broke all the rules, and because of it, someone died.
And it's not his first movie with guns. He's been doing this for 30, 40 years.
Yeah, he's a long... No, he was also ROTC in high school.
Really?
He was. He was ROTC in high school. So it's also funny too because I actually I've been rewatching Justified, and I tried to watch Justified Primeval. It's really bad. But the point is, in the show, the way that Raylan Gibbons carries his gun is very much old school Hollywood, which is like straight arms at the ground. Now, in the sequel, he's holding it how you're actually supposed to hold it, and I'm like, don't do that. I'm like, hold it the way you held it before. I don't buy that. Like, even though you were a 10-year veteran at the start of the first show and you were doing that wrong, I don't buy that you suddenly fixed it 10 years later.
The thing about proper, there's something to be said about proper gun handling in a movie. That's really what made John Wick.
No, I know.
Because
in this, it's just a continuity error for me. But you're right. You're absolutely right.
Because right off the bat with John Wick, it was a cool movie, but it was short and it was about the gun handling. And that went like wildfire through the gun community. When we figured out that he was actually reloading, people were counting the rounds. They're like,
how many in the magazine?
Wait a minute, he's actually counting how many rounds. Like the editors, because you know how a movie's made, and they're like, wow, the editors took time to pay attention to make sure that the actual guns he was using and the stuff that he was doing was accurate to round count. And once everyone in the gun community saw that, it was over. They were telling all their friends and blah blah blah. So
like impossible to find a P30L in anything other than 40.
Yes.
Chambered in anything else other than 40 after that movie came out.
Yes.
Like impossible to find.
Yeah.
All right. So Baldwin, everybody knows this dude's not going to jail. Nothing's going to happen.
All the headlines are saying he could be charged. He could be charged. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It says, although Alec Baldwin repeatedly denies pulling the trigger, given the tests, findings, and observations reported here, the trigger has been pulled or depressed sufficiently to release the fully cocked or retracted hammer of the evidence revolver, states the analysis. But this is also one of those things where everyone gets their own outside experts to do this. So the first expert got them what they wanted, and then Baldwin will hire his own expert to say, it absolutely could have gone off. Maybe a ghost pulled the trigger. So
you got to watch out for that Patrick Swayze.
Also, let's face it, they put this movie back into production. So what I like to think happened is they picked up literally right where they left off, and it's this scene, and it's just really awkward.
Either way, the vibe in that room must have been absolutely atrocious.
They have to cut can you imagine?
They had to cut that scene,
we have
right?
to go back and finish that scene now.
But no, here's the thing. Baldwin's probably a psychopath. So he's just like, why is everyone so nervous?
You just back away from him when you're both at the catering table.
Dude.
Here's your coffee, Mr. Baldwin.
Take it. Like, I have to imagine they cut that scene, right? Like that scene had to be changed in some way.
Maybe. They're just like social distancing around Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, dude.
No, man, COVID's back, Alec.
All right, guys. In other news, Barbie passes The Dark Knight to become the highest grossing Warner Brothers domestic release ever. Little caveat, this is not adjusted for inflation, right? So in this case, it's like over 500 million, 537.5 million at the box office. It's said higher than that now. Adjusted for inflation, it would have to make like 744 million at the box office. Yes, it probably will.
Yeah.
What are we in, week 4 now? Maybe won't make
4 or 5. It's still pretty new.
But it's having these unbelievable holds like you were talking about. Oh, wait, there's a $20 one right there from Luis Hernandez Jr.
The only thing good on Disney is Bluey. My kids love it. Also, Airplane Lady is Luke's waifu, so she's taken. LOL. I guess, Brett, you're out of luck. Also,
What?
Hi, Phil.
Yes.
Is the Beanie Boss coming on anytime?
Hi. I think that question is to you guys.
Yeah, we were talking about it, and we were like, that would be too.
I was like, I don't think it works.
You know?
I was like, I don't know if Tim wants to not lead.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to picture him.
And it would get too political.
What would it like? I don't know. Like Tim has plenty of pop culture knowledge. I don't know if I imagine he'd read a lot of these stories and be like, why does this matter? It doesn't need to matter.
It all depends on if he wants to do it or not. Yeah. If he wanted to, he could come and engage in the conversation like a normal human being. I mean,
he could force us to have him on the show.
That would be funny. He's like it just shows up on the schedule, and it's like we don't have a say in it. Like he's like, yes, I'm your guest this day.
Yeah.
Now they're saying, because people are saying, Phil, me and you have to fight for Plain Lady because you were interested in Plain Lady, but he has an unfair advantage because he's a rock star, so that's not fair. That's not fair. So I'm gonna have to like slash your car tires on the way to prevent you from getting there first.
Guns.
So, So Barbie is unbelievably. It's kind of a phenomenon.
She did what Bane couldn't and the Joker couldn't. She took down Batman.
Exactly. It's crazy.
You look disappointed.
Are we going to watch this movie with the same love and affection as The Dark Knight? No, of course not.
Yeah. But it's crazy.
It is what it is.
I mean, it's not even inflation adjusted. And everyone knows that recently inflation has been...
Okay, cope.
What?
You're coping.
700. It's got to make another 200.
It probably
roughly
will.
$200 million.
It hasn't gotten its release in a lot of different countries.
This is domestic box office.
Yeah.
So it's past its record against The Dark Knight is against its domestic gross, not against its world gross. But yeah, so Margot Robbie and she also got a $50 million bonus to do this.
I think I had a stronger negative reaction closer to when we watched and reviewed it, but since I've like reflected on it afterwards, I just don't. I don't know. I feel like it was okay.
The Barbie movie?
Yeah.
You have to rewatch it.
It's not like, I don't want to rewatch it. I wouldn't rewatch it. It's not special to me or anything. I just think, there were enjoyable moments and there were moments that were not so enjoyable, and everyone just took it way too seriously.
Well, there was we talked about it for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes on this channel. Did you review it? Oh no, because me and you were both in that Twitter thread, sorry, X thread, where everyone got really mad because you're like, it's super woke, and then people just went off.
4 days of people saying, gonna see it, thanks. Oh, you're so dumb. I mean, just no other reaction to any of the movie. And that was a lot of that was before it even came out.
Yeah.
Like I reviewed it early.
Yeah, you got it early. And
so maybe I was right, or you can hate my review, that's fine, but try watching it first.
Yeah, like that was like the people who were commenting were being real vicious about it to like everybody who was like, because I was just like, imagine my shock that the movie about Barbie is
That's just the internet.
So,
but to me, like my only death threat so far has been because I said that Bob's Burgers has jumped the shark, and people went ballistic. And
wow,
it got ugly.
Bob's Burgers is good. Has it been bad recently?
Lately, I love the show. It's great, but I think the last couple of seasons have been
okay.
And the super fans came after you.
One did in particular.
Okay.
Doll clicks.
Physically?
No, but I mean, I got an email. It wasn't.
Doll click says, "What 1,000 million zillion minutes you talked about it? WTF? No, we reviewed it for 20 to 30 minutes, and we covered subsequent stories.
Doll,
you're being rude.
Doll, just so you know, in the future, when you're going to do the what, you have to do the A with a lot of them. You don't go.
Yeah, it's what. Not what.
Good point there.
All right.
Good point,
I
Phil.
guaranteed she's pissed at me.
In other news, Taylor Swift is so popular she doesn't need to do the Super Bowl. Literally, she's so famous that doing the Super Bowl halftime show would lose her money.
Do people even care about the Super Bowl halftime show anymore?
Yes, they
do.
Yeah.
Rihanna's show, it got people talking about it being satanic for like 2 days, and then nobody remembered it.
That was just cringe conservatives, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't think it was a satanic ritual,
But also but the one before that was the one where they had all the millennial rap acts and there was like a bunch of stuff coming out. It was like Eminem and Dr. Dre.
Look, man,
the last
Creed is
thing-
getting back together.
Let's go! I just watched their halftime show performance the other day, and I got more American.
They're
as I
getting
watched
back
it.
together, so I am not giving up on the Super
They can
Bowl
get Creed
halftime
back.
show
Dude.
yet. All right,
With wings, have just pick Scott.
Look,
Stapp.
they're not going to get Creed. They're gonna go for someone like Taylor Swift or
Creed
Ariana
would do
Grande.
it. Creed would do it.
or-
Creed would do it.
Of course, if they were offered it,
They should
They were
definitely
almost
offer
gonna
it.
offer it to Lizzo.
Dude.
She dropped off of
Creed
the list.
and Lizzo can do it together.
They dropped her from the list of consideration because of her scandal.
Dude.
Her banana
Skin.
allegations.
Which, by the way, guys, if you guys don't know who the Savannah Bananas are, which is an exhibition baseball team, everyone should go online and look up the Savannah Bananas because I'm trying to go to a game. It's like an exhibition. It's like wrestling meets baseball.
Ooh.
It's like an exhibition game, and it's more entertainment than it is actual baseball, and it's a ton of fun. And I'm trying to go. Like they're in Boston right now, so it's very possible they end up out this
PCC
way.
meetup at the Savannah
Dude, I looked at their hats. They're like $100. I'm like, I'm not spending
Wow.
$100. Well, because you can only buy them used, and they're hard to find. So like, they're all collector's items, and I want one. But yeah, also I'll admit this. I didn't like the Barbie movie, but I did almost buy the Knuff hoodie. I did.
Yeah,
There's a hoodie that says I am Knuff. And
they did the merch expertly
Yeah.
well.
Oh, the marketing was brilliant.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant.
All right. So Taylor
I think you
Swift.
should get the hoodie.
Who would you have do the halftime show then?
No, honestly, Creed would be a great one, but like we know that they're not going to do that.
It should be Metallica. At this point, Metallica should do it.
Travis Scott, and then just the game doesn't get finished.
If
'cause
we know
something
that
goes wrong.
Taylor Swift and Lizzo were on the list, then I don't think Creed is on the list.
No, I didn't say. I said Metallica, not Creed.
Or Metallica.
Creed would be great.
Well, obviously Oliver Anthony should be the. Yeah.
Oliver Anthony, yeah.
Come on.
Oh, I am down.
How many heads would explode over that?
That would be.
So
He just gets up there and performs "Try That" in a small town.
And he opens with a Bible verse, which would
Yes,
be really
yeah.
well welcome.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure Hollywood would love that
Yeah,
right now. I'm
yeah.
sure Hollywood would love
The
that.
last
right now.
thing people remember about the halftime show is the left shark meme. Like, it's not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
That's why Taylor Swift didn't do it. Like,
I
she
remember
makes
the-
more money touring the world than she does.
Well, yeah, she would lose money by doing this
Getting
because they don't
booked
get
for
paid
this.
to do the Super Bowl halftime
Imagine
show.
that gig is beneath someone. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, oh yeah, no, I'm good. Thanks.
She's like, I'm sorry, I'm making too much money right now. Like, I don't need your wimpy promotion
Yeah.
for the Super Bowl.
I lost money fielding this call.
Yeah.
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 Is there? So you think Metallica should do it?
I do, yeah. I mean, they're at a point in their career, and society is kind of at the point where they're not too edgy anymore.
Uh-huh.
You know, even if they did the most edgy, heaviest stuff they did, it's still boomer material,
Yeah.
basically. So it's
It
not.
checks a lot of boxes. Really.
Yeah, it's not too edgy. They are the biggest band in the world. They might be the last biggest band in the world, or that's like this, as in like a band that's, like you might get artists like Taylor Swift and stuff in the future. I don't know that you'll get a band that starts out like as a rock band or a heavy metal band that gets to that size.
Probably would have had BTS do it.
Yeah.
BTS will do it. It's just like,
That would be just so profoundly un-American.
It would. That's what I'm saying. Like it's kind of like a sign that the times have officially
Yeah.
we've jumped the shark as a country. Like we don't even have American acts anymore in our Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just depressing. It's just depressing. All right, Mary, tell us what's going on with Skittles.
Skittles is rebranding their packaging to literally say "Protect Black Trans Lives"
What?
and "Joy is Resistance."
I love the idea that they're resisting. What are they resisting exactly?
As if they could get
Cavities?
more
Profits.
woke after
They're
Taste
resisting
the
profits.
Jordan Peterson got in on this.
Yes,
if we
he
could get more woke
tweeted,
after
"Wouldn't a
Taste."
boycott be unfortunate?" I love that he basically tweets in haiku now.
Yes, Jordan Peterson is great. His Twitter is
The way
is
he
amazing.
formats his tweets.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I guess like Skittles didn't really even have to do all that. They already had the slogan "Taste the Rainbow." They didn't need to do any type of weird social justice
Aren't
marketing.
they owned by the same company as Hershey's?
Probably.
You know, okay, look, this might be a little too edgy, so I apologize if it is, but like this kind of stuff, they might as well just put on the package, suck her dick.
There you go. They could do that. That would be great. That would be
You know, imagine they were coming up with this campaign, and then someone raises their hand. Oh, sir, what about the Bud Light? Shut up.
Right? Like you'd think.
No, what happened is the Bud Light lady got hired at Skittles.
That's
and now
right,
now they're like,
Well, no, that's when they hit the button and the trap door opens underneath that guy.
So yeah, they're like somebody says they make it easier to start looking for healthier snacks. So he says goodbye Skittles again.
Who even likes
I do
Skittles?
question like how many of these people who are like hasn't bought a thing of Skittles since
Like,
they were 15.
I was the
like,
biggest fan of Skittles.
and they're just like, I am officially done with Skittles.
It is cool to like boycott the candy that is literally just a small ball of sugar.
Yes.
That's it. Sugar and dye.
That you
it.
stop eating at 8. You know, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like, and I'm not hating on them because they are kind of good sometimes, you know. But that being said,
But I feel like this has been it's not new, but I don't think there's any energy behind this. Also, Best Buy has been caught with some avoiding white people in some of their hiring practices,
Oh.
and that hasn't caught fire. So maybe this whole Bud Light thing burned itself out, and maybe it's not going to happen again. I don't know.
think so too. But I think that the reason that it was the stuff with Target and the stuff with Bud Light hit home was because of the fact that parents felt like it was targeting kids. At the end of the day, it wasn't just that
Skittles aren't targeting kids.
It is, but people
a different
felt
way.
like people felt like they were literally coming for their kids. Like that was the vibe. Is these people are trying to turn my kids against me?
Yeah.
They're trying to get my
That's a great
kids
point.
and turn them against me. And Skittles, it's like Skittles is like is saying like. I just don't pick up the feeling of I'm trying to get your kids.
Yeah.
Like the LGBT community really has a lot of work to do to earn back the trust because of that choir that put out that
well,
we're
they
coming
tried
for
to
your
run
children.
interference on that one and say it was a joke.
Yes,
right?
but now then there's this, and the problem is it's all based in theory. It's all based in queer theories, like intergenerational relationships is what they call it. Mark Hughes wrote about it in Eros and Civilization. It's based in leftist queer theory. It's real. So that's why it keeps popping its ugly head up. Not because of, it's not just because of the fact that there are predators out there, but it pops up on the left because the left attracts predators because the left actually has theory that not only apologizes for but endorses
And shields
that
it.
stuff. Shields it, but endorses it. Says that in the future there is no distinction because again, the left's trying to dissolve distinctions between things. So the left is literally trying to dissolve the distinction between adult and child, and they do it in schools too because you talk about one of the things they talk about in a lot of like Paulo Freire's school work and stuff like that is he talks about abolishing the distinction between student and teacher. The student and the teacher learn from each other, and you hear people talk about that, but that's based on the idea that you're abolishing the distinction between student and teacher. And it goes the same thing with adult and child because you're learning from each other. It's part of the framework that some leftists have, and it keeps popping up on the left and in these kind of situations because that framework is there. It's part of their philosophy. So it doesn't just go away until the left in and of itself excoriates, like totally cuts that stuff out of their theories.
All this because I just want some candy. I just want to
sorry.
eat some candy.
Sorry about that.
It's not fair.
There's a reason I'm an
Snickers. We still have
anti-communist.
Snickers.
Exactly. No. There's this. I think it was fake. But did you ever see that story that popped up on Twitter about the woman who got caught like using she was like a nurse who got caught using a credit card in a vending machine like minutes after a patient died, like stole a credit card from a patient.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a fake meme that was going around where Snickers says, "When you're hungry, you're not yourself." and like on one hand, I was like,
I mean, there's so many levels to that.
it'd be amazing if it was like it's awful, but it would be
it's so
amazing if it was true.
Yes, it's
like
so good.
it's
You're
in
not
an evil
yourself.
way.
You're not yourself. You wouldn't steal normally, but you're hungry, so you did.
Exactly.
And there's also you steal, so it's not you.
Yeah.
That's God. That's so good.
I earned this
So
Twix,
good.
right?
Exactly. All right.
That's so good.
Britney Spears, ladies, did you have where in the spectrum did you have it? Under a year, over a year? She's getting divorced, ladies and
The
gentlemen.
marriage lasted just over a year with Sam Asghari, and now he is about to file for divorce. Allegedly, he confronted her about cheating, and they had a blow-up fight, and they allegedly have been fighting a lot, and she's been getting physical and screaming at him.
Okay, hold on one second. I don't know exactly what your take is on Britney Spears. I am going to say before we go any further, I would bet that Mary's in "I told you so" land. Right? You're like, she needs to be put away because she's nuts and she's going to screw up her own life. Right?
Put away in a Barbie
Mary,
I wasn't exactly anti-conservatorship. I'll just say that. Yes.
and I was just over here like, look, just because she's nuts does not mean give the
Like-
federal government the right to ban her from her
Because
own.
I'm torn, and the reason I make this joke is, because I'm torn on this, because I don't like the idea of the federal government just like, being able to be like, yo, you're a crazy person, get off, blah blah blah. But we are seeing massive problems with mental health in this.
Phil's
this
an
country.
authoritarian. You heard it here first.
I hate you.
Wow.
But the thing is, we're seeing massive problems with homelessness, and homelessness there's a Venn diagram of homelessness and mental illness and drug use, and you got you got the situation with Britney that I think it sheds light on the fact that it's not as simple as we can't have people put into custody because they have to be free. Some people can't be left alone to take care of themselves, I think.
I say leave her alone. Let her be. She's
Even after that video with the stripper pole.
that was the real reason they got
That
divorced.
was like,
Her
that should have
husband
been
got
the final straw.
Her husband got the ick because she was so bad on the stripper pole. That's what happened.
If these kids can't stay together, what chance do we have, honestly?
Exactly, right?
He's also not even 30 yet. Imagine getting married to Britney Spears and divorcing her all before 30.
See, to your point, like maybe the fact that he claims that she attacked him in his sleep might offer you some legal framework. Like if you want to get a 5150 and get her and have her checked out, right? Like you could do that. For the most part, though, somebody like her, like you said earlier, you related it to homelessness and drug use. She's insulated from the homelessness because of her wealth.
Sure.
So she's not going to have to deal with that in the same way.
There are also a bunch of headlines like she's gearing up with the strongest lawyers for this divorce. Yes. And she had the strongest prenup ever.
I mean, I've heard that prenups
So-
are very they get out of prenups very easily these days.
Do you think
don't
that
they?
he got with her for her money?
I don't. Well, I mean, look, I don't know for sure. If he goes after her for money, then he's just a loser.
Yeah, it's just a year. My gosh.
Yeah, like you're really, really a loser.
Get your bag, King?
Also, I'm pretty sure that I've either swatted my wife or vice versa during sleep accidentally.
Yeah.
So that happens.
There you
too.
go. See, I'm the opposite. Every time I saw, like, one of my favorite photos is that picture of Adele leaving her divorce lawyer's office after she lost all that money in the divorce, and her head is sullen and she looks depressed.
But on the other hand, there's that picture of Nicole Kidman after she
Exactly.
divorced Tom Cruise, and she's just looking elated.
But also but not just that, but also Kevin Costner's like evil harpy of an ex-wife.
he
They're
just
not divorced
accused
yet.
her of gamesmanship.
whatever that means, right? But she's doing exactly what's her name? Who's the one that just left with her trainer? Tom. You know what I'm talking about, right? Gisele Bündchen.
Yes.
Gisele Bündchen's like, she ran off with like her fitness instructor or something, which is the most hilarious
probably
and
something
classic
worse. It was
Hollywood.
like yoga instructor
Yeah.
or something.
And then Kevin Costner's wife goes off to the beach with a friend
their
of the family that was
friends.
friends with both of them. And you're just like, and you wonder why he's just like depressed, right?
And there's the Ariana Grande situation.
Look, we were just talking earlier today about someone that is anti-marriage, and I'm like, well, kind of, it's a good idea. And now all these stories are just horror story after horror story after horror story.
But I feel like
and considering my personal history and and stuff, like, come on.
people are saying like, oh, what's going on this year with all of these celebrity divorces? But it's not a new thing.
No,
It's
celebrities
always
get
been like that.
Celebrities get divorced all the time. Like I always point out, I say television actors seem to do better. They don't get divorced as frequently, or if they do have several marriages, they last for longer. Like there's some celebrities you look, they've been married like 3 times each of them for like 10 to 15 years. It's like they just don't know how to sleep alone at night. Like they have to be next to someone, right? So they're like, yeah, I gave it my best shot. And it happens, but this dude, I don't know if he's going to go after her money, but he's got his own money, right? He was already successful.
He's like a model, whatever.
He's just like, I thought he was already successful. I thought this dude was.
He met her when they were filming a music video together. He was like a background dancer in her music video.
Also, her kids just moved to Hawaii with their dad.
Yeah, the kids aren't talking to Britney. She's incredibly unstable. They've asked her to stop posting naked pics on Instagram. She won't stop.
Kevin Federline?
No. Oh, yeah, the kids.
Kevin Federline.
Kevin Federline lives in Hawaii?
With the kids, yeah.
That dude won.
Yeah.
He won.
Yeah, he did.
She's crazy. She's crazy as hell, making an ass of herself on TV. He is living in Hawaii, and the kids want to be with him.
Yeah.
That's a win.
He wins.
By the way, is there a chart of how many marriages are there now with Britney, and how long?
3. At least 3.
This was the third one.
What was the first guy's name? The one who just got arrested again for
Jason Alexander. Jason Alexander was at her wedding with Sam Asghari, trying to break into her house. Literally, he just walked right into the house. Nobody was there. No security guards were there. He just opened the door and walked in and started looking through her clothes and stuff. And he was like, I was her first husband. I'm her real husband.
Ooh,
He's got a point.
My hope is that what she does with all of this, she gets a glow up and she gets a new phone so that when she takes her weird pictures, she at least has like a modern camera.
She's going to step into her confidence.
She needs to step into her confidence.
I want her to marry the other Jason Alexander.
Yes!
That'd be amazing.
The Seinfeld
right?
Jason Alexander. I just watched
The Summer of George.
Yeah, I just watched a great old interview with him where he's talking about when Larry David left Seinfeld, and he's talking about how the writing changed on the show, and it was really, really interesting because he's a really articulate dude. And they're cutting it in between these clips of him being an absolute buffoon on the show. So it's like they're highlighting the differences, right? He's like, Jerry, they're showing all the ways in which the actors do that way. Oh, she could marry Kramer. That guy, what's that guy got going on? He said the bad word the one time.
Yeah.
And then
the gamer word.
Yeah, he was never seen again after that. So, we'll see. So we'll keep an eye on it and see if Sam Asghari gets a payout. He'll probably get a
monitor
get a
the
payout.
situation.
All right, guys. Speaking of Hawaii, there is a conspiracy theory going around right now that Oprah Winfrey is burning down Maui.
I knew it.
She's behind it all.
She's an evil supervillain.
Now, tell us why.
It's not space lasers. They're saying it's basically an evil land grab. Yeah. She wants to become a landlord, like all those people on the left hate. And what they're saying is that she bought a bunch of land parcels in Maui, and what's conspicuous is that, look, all the land around her burned down. Her place was untouched. And the same thing happened in 2017 at her home in Montecito, where all the land around her house burned down. Hers was mysteriously not touched.
God respects the Oprah. It's obvious.
That's just wrong. Yeah. See, like what I'm picturing now is like the Oprah interview with her and Harry and Meghan, and there's just flames behind them in the distance. And they're just left untouched because, I guess God doesn't punish the wicked. I thought God did, but apparently not. It says
why does she want the land if it's destroyed? I'm sorry, this theory does not hold up.
Well, actually, I mean,
There's also World Economic Forum conspiracies here.
Your reason to protest against the theory is actually worse than the theory.
What is
because
it?
she's got $1 billion and they're not making any more Hawaiian coastline except on the Big Island. And that takes a long time to cool down. So like she gets the property, she can build on it, and then the value of the property with a new construction goes through the roof. But I don't think that it's a conspiracy to get the property.
Also, she's got $1 billion in her couch cushion. She got more than that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, she's loaded.
She does have her own network. Very few people own their own network.
She was
right?
wasn't she the first African American female billionaire?
Maybe her.
I don't know.
Was she?
I think she was the first female
Probably.
African American billionaire.
Okay. Well, it says
I think.
in 2022 she bought 2 10-acre swaths of land for $100,000 each, and then just in this year she bought a 330-acre plot for $2.47 million.
So that wasn't $100,000. That was $1 million each, right?
The
10-acre thing?
No, $100,000 each.
$100,000 for 10 acres in Hawaii?
2 10-acre swaths of land in Hawaii, $100,000, and then 1 330-acre plot for $2.47 million.
Phil is like considering
He's
it.
like,
now.
let's go.
Not bad. Yeah, like
Hawaii?
$100,000.
And then
I will sell my 50 acres. I can sell 10 acres in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And I can buy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna be
this
next
is
door
Maui.
neighbors.
And this is Maui land. This is land in Maui. So it says 520-acre plot
That's
for
got to be a
$2.89
that's got to be a typo. Just for 100. There's no way
No
a
way?
plot of land on Maui went for $100,000.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's absolutely not.
per acre? I mean,
$100,000. Think there's literally property in New Hampshire where like a couple acres.
Well, it says
is that much money.
It says 2 10-acre swaths of land for $100,000 each. They mean like $100,000 for each acre. That's not what. That's not how it's framed.
It sounds
here.
like 10 acres for $100,000. It's $10,000 an acre.
Yeah.
$10,000 an acre in Maui seems insanely cheap.
So I think the best part here is that it's Newsweek they're writing about this.
Yes.
And I'm thinking the reporter has to call up her representative. Oh, we're just asking, wonder if Miss Winfrey has burned Maui purposely. Can you return our call? Thank you.
And then because she was on, she was part of she brought like cameras in with a film crew to try and show her helping out survivors.
It says Oprah has been on the ground helping people. She's been providing cots, pillows, toiletries, and more to shelters like this one in Hawaii, where she can also be seen helping out. There are videos of this. I guess I'm just defending Oprah because she gave me my start in life. And
oh yeah, these guys don't know that story.
Yeah, my mom was on Oprah, an episode of Oprah in the 90s.
Wow.
So I really have Oprah to credit for.
Did she get your
my
first
start
car?
in life.
Is that what happened? Or?
Yep.
And you get an acre of land.
She
and you
gave
get
me
an acre of land, and you get-
$100,000 plot in Hawaii.
And a match.
I still don't buy that price.
Think it's fake?
I think it's
fake?
Imagine that your house just burnt down and you're in the FEMA camp and here comes Oprah to give you a pillowcase or something. I wouldn't really feel great about that.
It's nice to meet you.
I'd be like, Oprah, can you buy me a new house?
But also, Royce White urges Maui investigation into energy weapons because they believe that a lot of energy
Space
weapons.
lasers.
That is so exhausting.
Why? Tell me why.
Because there are a lot of people that are saying that that believe it. There was a hurricane that was passing through.
Yep.
It knocked all kinds of shit down, and it had 80-mile-an-hour winds. There is no space lasers, okay? None.
Thank you for dispelling that rumor for us.
Now that it's all been cleared up, ladies and gentlemen, we're good. All right, what would you guys like to see first? Cute or cringe of the day?
What do you guys think?
Cringe. I want
Cringe?
Bring the
first?
cringe.
Cringe? All right, we'll go with cringe first then. Mary found this one. I have not previewed this one, so it could be bad. Let's go ahead and watch, ladies and gentlemen.
We do not appreciate being filmed for this.
Oh, he's not filmed. He identifies the camera. we just kind of. I'm glad it's funny to you.
It's just very confusing. We do not.
You think?
The way she immediately took it seriously and was like,
yeah.
"Oh, what are your pronouns?"
Oh, yeah, it's
camera,
like-
camera self.
What was the story? There was like a long time ago where a woman was on a radio call with the guy, and she basically said, "You don't understand because of your white privilege," and it was like the black head of BET or something that they were talking to, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I'm black." She's like, and she immediately does the big lefty 180, and she's like, "Oh." Oh, I'm sorry. I'm denying your lived experience, right?
Yeah.
Not just that, Mary. We had this one yesterday.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting fired, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
It's not clear what may have been taken, and no arrests.
Oh, this is great. I love
A
this.
71-year-old man is accused of inappropriately touching a 12-year-old girl at the Walmart in West Mifflin Sunday afternoon. According to
Yeah.
Someone's either getting fired or promoted.
One of the two.
Promoted.
One of the two.
There was a huge hi-fi in this backstage.
in the back. I was like, yes,
He's
got
like,
it.
I dare you. I dare you. You won't
That's
do it.
amazing.
You won't do it.
I will. I will.
I dare you.
All right, and we've got a couple of cute of the days as well. First things first, this one is from Solid Monkey. This is Guinevere and Eowyn. That is adorable.
Aw,
that is
cute.
adorable.
Dogs.
All right, let's do one more here. We'll save the other one for tomorrow. This one is from Mistress D. It says, listen to the show late while cleaning barns and stalls, so can't super chat. I'm a big and small animal vet, do wild animal rehab, and have a hobby farm, thus giraffes and bobcats. And here's Tallulah and her piglets because pigs rule.
Very rare.
This person sent in the baby giraffe the other day.
Yes.
It was cute.
Yeah, amazing. All right.
It's a fun job.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started then, shall we? So, Blue Beetle is coming out. Blue Beetle.
40 minutes in.
39.
Let's get started.
Seriously, it happens almost every Thursday at just about 40 minutes after the hour. 20 minutes before the hour, just about. Right
Let's
around there.
dive right into it, ladies and
Get
gentlemen.
started.
We're getting started here. So, Blue Beetle is coming out. Blue Beetle is a DC character that nobody's ever heard of unless you watch Justice League Unlimited or various other Justice League animated series. I'm excited to see this movie. Psych, no, I'm not, because what's going on is the director of this film has gone out of his way to do everything in his power to make you, the viewer, not want to see it.
Let's read the headlines. How
Yes.
about that? Angel Manuel Soto doubles down on promoting Blue Beetle with identity politics, questions if it was possible to have a Latino superhero on a Times Square billboard.
Oh my God.
Blue Beetle director said the film had to get theatrical debut because the film features a Latino superhero, Latino family, and highlights Latino culture differently. Blue Beetle director claims SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes affect disproportionately to minorities.
Yeah.
And it only gets worse when you dive deeper. Apparently there's a scene in Blue Beetle, this is confirmed by the director, that is an allegory for illegal immigration and ICE raids.
Can't wait. That's why I go to the
That's
movies.
amazing.
That's why I go
This
to
says,
the movies.
before the movie begins, the family is immigrated to America from Mexico. But Jamie Reyes' father, Alberto, doesn't have documentation, so he's under constant threat of deportation. Though the film doesn't depict an ICE raid, it does include a scene that echoes one. Cord Industries invades the family's home in a scene that can play as just another dramatic moment in a superhero movie, or be taken as symbolic of events that tear apart real families. The director said, there is a history that exists before an ICE raid. A history that includes traveling miles, danger, working hard,
I already
becoming
have
a
cancer
family,
listening to this man.
creating memories, and thinking that everything is going to be okay. But all of a sudden, everything you fought for, everything that you've worked for, everything that you've built is now burning. I needed the depiction to be triggering because it's the experience of many.
Who's this clown?
This is the director of the film, who, by the way, in 2016 made a video called Trump's America. So that tells you everything you need to know.
I mean, we need a government that has an open southern border. Until that happens, we need movies like
Exactly.
this.
That's exactly right. What they should have done is they should have had Taylor Sheridan make this movie because he made Sicario. That's the Blue Beetle movie I want to see, ladies and gentlemen. The other thing
He has
about
to fight drug smugglers.
see, I'm down for that. So
Only if the drug smugglers win.
yes, well, yeah, of course. But Here's the thing. This movie has an 87% from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes. That is better than The Flash's 64% and Shazam's 46% from the critics.
Can I throw a flag on the play? Because they didn't let me see the movie. I'm
so
based in Denver. Not just me, but if they didn't let me, they didn't let a lot of other people see it.
Yeah.
So maybe they're pre-screening it to maybe softer audiences. I don't know. Just let's give it a few days before we get the true score. I'm just
from the critics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would have figured that they would be in right now, given that we're about headed to launch, right? And the embargo would have gone right up until release.
Yeah, but if you don't see it, you don't see it. So
Yeah.
it opens tonight.
Okay.
So
I'll say this. One thing that I found very interesting is in recent DC releases, the critics have been more all over the place than the audience has. So on The Flash, the audience went 83%. On Shazam, the audience went 86%. It feels like the critics are actually being a little bit more unbiased towards the DC movies. I feel like they're probably more in the pocket of Marvel most of the time because so many of those companies are owned by Disney subsidiaries, right?
I don't, I hear
But
that
Time
a
Warner
lot.
owns a lot of.
Yeah.
But Time Warner owns a lot of brands.
If one of these studios wants to write me a huge check, just
Let's
bring
go!
it. I'm in.
Let's go.
5 stars.
It's projecting $25 to $30 million opening on a budget of $125 million. For comparison, Barbie opened to about $160 million on a budget of $100 million. Granted, they probably did about double the marketing for that, but this movie probably has less in the way of marketing because they're not sending the actors out to do anything because they can't right now.
But the directors
because of the writer
get
strike.
It's open season for directors
Because they
to
re-signed an
ruin
agreement.
their own
That's
movies
right.
right now.
I'm
So
pictu-
that's exactly what he's been doing.
I'm picturing like the head, like the head of Warner Brothers, is just like, oh, could you please stop talking? But they won't stop talking, which makes me want to ask a question because I asked a question on Twitter the other day, or should I say I made a statement. I said, look, it's time for these studios to start shrinking the budgets of these movies.
Oh, absolutely.
And a lot of the pushback, and rightfully so, people to the contrary said, look, what they need to do is invest in better writers. I said, yes, that's true. But here's the thing. You have less to lose if you invest less in each of these projects, right? Your bare minimum to make back your money is smaller. So if they fail and they bomb, it's less of it hurts your bank account less to see that flop than to see it flop when you spend $200 million on a movie and nobody goes to see it.
And also, they're not cutting costs by hiring a less talented writer. That's not where the money's losing.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, they should hire at least one independent film director for all these movies and say, Mary, or whatever your name is, what would you do differently? How would you shave costs here? And then he or she will say, I would do this, I would do this, I would do this. Yeah. And you cut the costs. You don't need to spend $1 gazillion on these movies. You just don't.
Yeah. It's harder with some of these superheroes because they're so CGI heavy.
I get that. You can still...
Yeah.
And also make them shorter. Make it 90 minutes.
That's like the other thing I said the other day is like every time what I picture some writer. He's got this script. He walks into the studio. He's like, here's this perfect hour and 30-minute movie, and the studio's like, great. Now let's just add another hour on top of that and make it so that nobody wants to go see it. Like, get me in and out of a movie under 2 hours.
Yeah.
I will already. Mary might be objective. I'm just going to give you a good review because you didn't monopolize my time. I'm like, bro, like you
How
got
long
me.
is Blue Beetle?
I don't know the runtime on
me
it.
look
Like,
it up.
You can't. There is no way this movie is like a 2.5-hour movie.
I bet you at least a 2. I'm gonna.
It's
guess.
at least 2
Gotta be
hours.
2.
It's not.
Well,
it's
yeah,
not under
because
2 hours.
it's an origin story.
There's a $20 super
It's
chat.
2 hours 7 minutes.
Okay, good. That's fine. Like I'm under 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm good.
Okay, this one from Francisco Sanchez Jr. says, "Hi y'all. Phil, apologies in advance, but could you sing or yell a random All That Remains lyric? Cheers."
Any lyric.
Anything.
Just really? Why?
He paid for it.
Why?
That's so weird, and it feels uncomfortable. Yeah, it's like it's
okay.
weird. Yeah.
Maybe you could wait until you're comfortable later in the show.
Think of one you'd like to say.
Yeah.
All right. There you go.
It's kind of like when they
put
act
you on the spot.
Like they ask a lot of actors. They're like, "What's your favorite movie?" And they're like, oh. There's plenty of actors who don't even watch their own work. Like who find it uncomfortable to watch their own work.
Woody Allen never did. I think Woody Allen watched his first movie he directed, then I'm out. I
Can't do it. It's like people will talk about stuff we've said on the show. I'm like, bro, I don't remember what I said. Like I don't remember, and I don't watch any of this back. I can't. Look, my logic for this was like, there was a way he could have done this. And what he could have done is make the original marketing all-inclusive. You want to speak to everybody. If you want to reflect back on the movie after it comes out and start bringing up these topics that you find to be related to identity and the oppression Olympics, all that stuff, there's a discussion that could be had there that he could have done the same thing. He could have done more interviews. It's not like these studios or any of these rags that make these outlets aren't going to like take an interview with the guy.
Yeah.
Like you can go and talk about this, like, well, reflecting on the movie, it really was about ICE and immigrations and customs enforcement. He could do that, but do it after you've released the movie.
The whole thing right now is it's the first Latino superhero to get his own movie.
Or you can say that and say, but you know what? This is for everybody. You know, I know it's a Latino family, but I think every kid's going to say, I want to be Blue Beetle. And just spin it that way. That's so easy and it's so inclusive and it's so positive. Or just say, you know what? I shot this scene and it was amazing. This went wrong, but the actors rallied for me. It was an amazing moment. I can't wait for you to see it.
Yeah.
This is what Susan Sarandon said. She said, what's fabulous about Blue Beetle?
Susan Sarandon
She's the bad guy.
She's
She's
in
the bad
Blue
guy.
Beetle.
She is the Blue Beetle.
It's the first Latinx hero that has his own movie.
She said Latinx.
Even better, all of them are Mexican because his family is Mexican, all the actors are Mexican, and it's Spanish, so it's subtitled.
You know,
I'm like, that sounds great.
There's something going on with a lot of people that are like from like south of the U.S. border. They act like they're not white, but guess what? They're all descendants of Europeans. You're all crackers. You're all crackers. Is that a bad thing to say?
I know. I think you're allowed to say.
Is that on our list of words
that we can't say?
No list.
No. Look, it's absolutely ridiculous. And as far as I'm concerned, we're in the death throes of DC before James Gunn takes over right now.
He's going to have a corpse in his hand.
Yeah. He's like, there's really funny. There was another.
Is he rebooting everything?
Yeah. He's starting everything from scratch. There was a really funny interview recently where somebody said like, oh, I think bringing on James Gunn and Peter Safran's really going to reboot people's interest in DC. I'm like, no, you're wrong. No. Like that's like what it is they're going to have to settle for like 3 good movies. Like they're going to have to hit 3 home runs that only make a little bit of money and make a little bit more each time.
Did someone actually say that? Do they think that normal people pay attention to industry news?
No. No, yes, they do. They're in their own echo chamber.
I don't even think the average person like walking down the street knows who James Gunn is.
Yeah, that's true.
Probably not.
They don't care.
I just want to see.
They don't know that anything's getting rebooted. It's just confusing.
I want to see how Bruce Wayne becomes Batman because we've never seen that story.
Yes,
I just need that scene.
I just watched Batman '89 over the week. I hadn't seen it in years, and it's so good.
Batman '89, huh?
It's so good. I hadn't watched it in years.
That's the Michael Keaton one?
The original, yeah.
Okay.
And how they didn't show the Joker right away. They made you wait and wait and wait.
Not just that, but not just when he becomes Joker, but when he first appears in the office and he's shadowed out of the shot, and there's like 4 minutes of tension of building up to his face reveal. Yeah. That's just, it's such expert filmmaking that's just so lost on the industry now. Like you watch it and you're like I need to see it. I need to see it. And it's just lost on people these days. They're blinded. Like it's so funny because there is CGI in that movie. It's really bad because it came out in 1989. It's like the space laser. It's really bad. Like the Batwing is really bad looking, but it's great. It's fun and it's amazing. And nothing that gets made these days is ever going to have that type of feel again.
Well, like the last couple of Halloween movies, Michael Myers is front. I mean, he might as well be like the star of a variety show. Yeah, there's no hiding him. There's no mystery. It's like there he is. He's got a knife, and it's like, come on. In original Halloween, you barely see the guy. He's in the shadows.
It's like if they made Jaws now, it'll be CGI looking at the damn shark the whole time.
Well, you know the story there. The Bruce the shark kept malfunctioning, and they had to show it less and less, and it made a classic movie. It's amazing.
It's amazing. Oh, that reminds me. Maybe I will go see The Meg this weekend. Maybe you said
it's so bad until it's great.
Yes.
Until it's great.
It's great.
So you're suffering until you're just like, bang, okay, that's great.
It just goes crazy. It's like remember Piranha from a couple of years ago? It just outrageous.
Piranha 3D.
No pretense, just absurdity, but fun and
The Flash made $268 million on a budget of like $300 million.
That's worldwide though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Shazam made $134 million on a budget of $125 million, which means with marketing, both of them lost money. Yeah. And just remember,
you, Rachel Zegler.
Just remember, it's all Rachel Zegler's fault. And just remember that this is all happening while these actors are telling the studios, I want more money. I want more money in residuals from my movie that lost money. It's absolutely bonkers,
ridiculous,
and they're kind of banking on the star power of the lead actor from Cobra Kai. I don't know if that's enough to really sell people on this movie. Like, I love Cobra Kai, but I don't know if that's enough to sell people on this film. And it really does kind of symbolize how big DC has flopped post Nolan, right?
Yeah.
As much as I love is a strong word. As much as I like Batman vs Superman, the extended edition, not the theater edition, I was actually talking about. So think about this. We were just talking about how movies are all too long now, and then Zack Snyder's over here like, why couldn't I have gotten in on this when that became a thing? Because he loves to make his movies 4.5 to 5 hours long. He's like, I love shots where the whole scene is just 9 minutes of a guy walking up to a box, and they won't let him do that. But it's all of this is kind of like proving that they need to just reboot everything. They need to just drop it, because that Gal Gadot Wonder Woman 3 that was reported, not happening. Not happening.
Oh.
So now
I didn't know that.
They need to just drop it all. Start from scratch, do your Superman movie.
Why was that misreported?
But they could have
She said it, and then they said no.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's misreported. I mean, they're reporting what she said, and they said James Gunn said,
They really don't have their shit together. The
They
spaghetti's
don't.
just
They don't.
falling out of their pockets.
By the way, I know you want to
Spaghetti
reboot stuff, and I
pockets,
get
nice
that, but
reference.
Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. Who's better?
No,
Yes.
there
My
is no
God.
one better.
Yeah.
The at least not with her star power. Though her new movie, it's really bad. Heart of Stone is really, and that's Mary understands how much leeway I give spy thrillers. I give a lot of leeway to the spy genre because I love that particular type of film.
Watching
It's
a
so
spy
bad.
thriller on Netflix after Gray Man is psychotic behavior.
It kind of is. The Mother was really, really bad too with Jennifer Lopez, but if Gal Gadot can't save it, then nobody can save it. So, guys, we're going to see Blue Beetle tonight. We will have a review for you tomorrow on the show. I promise, if it's good, I will cross my heart and hope to die. I will. Mary knows. I'll probably end up saying like, yeah, it was fine. It was great.
Very rarely is like going to see a movie like really bad.
No, I never have a bad, like we went to the Barbie movie and I didn't like the movie, but it was still
We were
fine
laughing.
for the first 45 minutes until it got depressing.
That being said,
You have to go see The Blackening. You may revisit your thought on that, 'cause that was terrible. Oh my gosh.
Blue Beetle looks really awful.
Yeah.
The horror movie?
Yeah. The spoof, the comedy.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Like, for me, it's just funny because Blue Beetle, like his introduction in the Justice League. Also, they're not doing Ted Kord. For anybody here who's a DC fan, they're not doing Ted Kord in this movie. So that's another reason. But his introduction to his character in Justice League Unlimited is really, really good. And you're just not going to top that. So we'll see how it goes. We will have a review for it tomorrow. Mary, let's go to some Super Chats.
Okay. Shane H. Wilder said, gonna be in and out today because I forgot my earbuds, but here's a random fact for the poll. NERF stands for non-expanding recreational foam.
Oh, I love that.
I didn't
Okay.
know that.
That's great, right?
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
for usually stealth watching with us.
And if he forgot his earbuds, let's hope that they weren't stolen by a family member like Tiffany Gomez.
because that MF is not real. Papa Piker said, Brett, you contemplated the Ken sweater. However, did you know Hot Topic is selling Ken boxer briefs? Would you be interested in that? Are you in the market for Ken boxers?
Are you enough for them?
Yes, I am enough for them, but I'm going to stick to the sweater, I think. I'm going to stick to the sweater.
Okay.
Let's do one more.
Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, you still got Lauren or Brittany?
That's true. That's true. All
Wait,
right.
who's Brittany?
Who is Lauren? Is Lauren
Spears?
Bobert? I guess maybe they're talking about because somebody else tagged me to think of like on the Britney Spears divorce, like Brett.
Oh, Britney
you're-
Spears
yeah,
is beaten
they're
that
like-
she's single now. Okay.
Yeah, she's single now. But Lauren Bobert's mine. Leave her alone. All right, let's hold off on the rest. We'll come back when we're done. All right, moving on, guys. So let's jump right into it now. Cancel Disney is trending because Disney is garbage right now. They have raised the price on Disney Plus by another $3. It's gained like 75. It's gone up by like 75% in just 2 years. On top of that, Indiana Jones 5 is bombed at the box office to the tune of a possible $100 million loss on top of many other things. Do you guys get a sense of joy when Disney fails?
I hate to say I do, but a little bit.
$14 a month is crazy.
For Disney Plus,
also, the fact that like when they launched, the promise was you can share your account and you have an endless library of all the Disney creations that were in their vault, and they haven't delivered on either of those promises. Now you can't share your account, and they're constantly taking things off the platform and adding new garbage that you didn't ask for when they launched originally. So, I mean, people were either searching online, cancel Disney because they can't figure out how to cancel their account, or they are tweeting it out because they want to cancel the company in the cancel culture sense, which I'm in support of. But I don't have a Disney Plus account.
Like Iger can't seem to do anything right the second time around. Never come back.
Yeah, right.
Never retire and come back, as everyone's learned. Wait, did Michael Jordan win any championships after he came back? I don't remember.
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure.
No?
Well, he's with the Wizards for a while. They definitely didn't win.
No. Yeah, I think that's my favorite part of Space Jam is how they wove in his baseball career into it. My other favorite, one of my favorite conspiracy theories is that he didn't actually quit basketball to play baseball. They say that he got in trouble for gambling, and that it was quietly that he was suspended, and he went and played baseball in the meantime as a plausible excuse for why he was just suddenly not playing basketball for a period of time. I love that.
That's a good story. Much better than Oprah Winfrey burning an entire part of the country.
Less depressing, right? So you don't have a Disney Plus account. Even I canceled.
It's like boycott Skittles. Like I wasn't buying it anyway. So.
Like even me who like has most of the streaming service. Like I had BritBox at one point. Like British television streaming service. Like
thank you.
There we
guys. Crisis Party.
I was literally starting to think, I'm like, wait, there hasn't been a crisis party.
I know. Why hasn't there been more crisis parties? Guys, what's going on?
Thank you.
Do you guys like Disney or something? Is that why there hasn't been more crisis parties? They're mad at us?
Imagine having streaming services when you could be using free alternative platforms like Tubi.
Matey.
Tubi's great. Yes.
And Freevee.
And Pluto TV.
I'm sorry, but commercials are how the devil gets inside you, and I refuse to do it.
To be fair, when I want to watch She-Hulk again and again and again, you've got to go to Disney Plus.
And plus none of these mainstream streaming services have Xena Warrior Princess or Hercules. When it comes to Disney Plus, I don't have it anymore. I stopped. I had no need for it. The Marvel shows don't interest me. I do keep Hulu, which is majority owned by Disney, and Hulu is, in my opinion, the best of the streaming services.
There's a lot of stuff on Hulu.
There's an insane amount of stuff on Hulu. It's also the best streamlined design, in my opinion, as far as the different streaming services. The rest of them kind of pale in comparison.
Is Hulu kind of making up for the fact that Disney Plus is bleeding?
Yeah. They probably make up a lot
most of it, and then they're going to smash them together into one.
I haven't heard any numbers on Hulu lately, though, as far as subscriptions.
Is that still the plan? Hulu and Disney Plus are going to be the same thing?
Yeah, it'll be called Dulu.
Ew. God. It's going to be called Dookie.
Disney Plus. But on top of all this, guys, Indiana Jones is set to face a $100 million loss because nobody wanted to go see old man Harrison Ford walk around.
No, it's not that they didn't want to go see old man Harrison Ford. It's that they knew that the storyline was going to suck.
Yep.
And I think the trailer was bad. Just bad. The CGI was really obvious. It didn't have any great thrills. Trailers are super important these days. If you can't bring it in a trailer, you're kind of done.
Good trailers are a hallmark of I was actually talking to someone recently. I said as bad as the theatrical release of Batman vs Superman was, they had a bunch of great trailers that just made the mistake of revealing
everything.
Of revealing just about everything, right? But they were expertly cut trailers, and Marvel used to be able to do the same thing. All of the Infinity War trailers were unbelievably well done, and they knew to stop at 2, like do 1 and then 1 more. That's it. You don't need to do more than that. Good trailer is kind of like a lost art.
Yeah. But the Infinity War stuff, that was also like capping off like phenomenal movies too. So
well, the Captain America Civil War trailer was really, really good too. The way that they didn't need to reveal Spider-Man, but they had so many characters in there that they got a really big pop by bringing Spider-Man out at the very end of that first trailer. And you're right, the Indiana Jones trailer was bad. And it's not like this is one of those movies like we talk sometimes. Remember when we talked about Jennifer's Body, and we're like, they don't know how to market movies like this. How do you cut a trailer to a movie like that? Like, Indiana Jones doesn't have.
They were like,
such,
let's market it to men because Megan Fox is in it, and then it didn't actually appeal to men.
Yeah. But
so it
Indiana
failed.
Jones doesn't have that problem.
And some movies are just hard to trailerize.
Yeah.
It's just it's nuanced. It's different. It's hard to capture what's going on. I always look back at the Ghostbusters, the debacle of 2016. There was all this buzz and people kind of being negative about it. If that trailer was really good, it would all go away. Like, oh, I can't wait to see it. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And it was terrible, and everyone hated it. So
It was
I
terrible.
think the issue with trailers now is they're too paint by numbers and
Oh, yeah,
formulaic. They're like made for the algorithm, and it all just kind of blends together.
Yeah, if you
It's
guys
just
have
like
never seen it,
low bois.
yeah, there's an aeronauts. There's a thing made. It's called How to Make a Blockbuster Movie Trailer, and it says like
In a world.
insert message of fatalism, and it says low bois, and it shows you literally every movie trailer you've ever seen, but with generic
And AI
words.
is capable of making that, and we're like wowed by it. But when humans are in charge of the trailer, I expect a little more.
Yeah,
I think horror movie trailers are even worse because they're very predictable. There's a certain sound, that sonic backdrop is always the same.
Yeah.
The jump scares are the same. You just know exactly what's coming.
I wonder if I can find it. We'd have to cut it if we watched it. I'll have to cut the audio out. But yeah, if you guys have never seen this, this is really, really good.
Have you ever wondered about this particular thing? Because it turns out that that thing is real.
It's always an unexpected cover of a song.
Yeah.
Always a cover of a song.
That thing I referred to earlier? Well, it's happening, and it will destroy us all. Someone has to stop this thing. And that someone is you.
You didn't think it would be that easy, did you?
That is amazing. I love it.
I don't think I'm the one. I'm not the person who can stop this thing.
You are that person. Now take my hand!
Pretty much anything.
For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. I am the reaction.
I love it.
That's literally every movie trailer you've ever seen in your entire life.
How good that is.
And I miss the like more innocent trailers of the 90s that were like, this guy is a normal suburban guy, and then something happened to him. Like I miss the more like lighthearted ones that just kind of explained it to you like you're stupid.
The tortured, melancholic cover song is.
I was
Yeah.
the
Chef's
first thing
kiss.
that comes to mind.
Yeah, and the fact that it was you spin me right around.
Because it's like when the first time I saw
so well too. That's, I mean,
the first time I saw this. Like right after I watched it, the trailer for Death on the Nile came out, which uses exactly that of Depeche Mode's Policy of Truth.
what is that called? I'm searching that so I can make sure I can reference it later.
Spectacular.
It's called How to Make a Blockbuster Movie Trailer.
Yeah.
Yep.
I bet you a real trailer editor was watching that thinking, yeah, and
Yeah, exactly, right? He's like,
They're gonna show that in classes.
so just remember, when you watch an AI movie trailer, it's using this as the formula.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why that's so funny is because like there's a lot of similarities when it comes to the music industry. When you're writing a song, like you can write a song a certain way, or you can write it this way. Like you can write a song like that is going to appeal to the most people, or you can write a song that is a little more less traditionally constructed. And I literally, like, we're doing that right now. Our guitar player wrote this song and he's got this idea in his head. of what he wants to sound like, and our producer's like, there's this part in it that he wants to do as the chorus multiple times because it only happens once, and he's like, it's a special part, blah blah blah. And it's that fight now between our producer wants it to be a traditional sounding song with a, that has a chorus that's recognizable, that repeats and blah blah blah, and our guitar player that wrote the song, that wrote the most of the music and stuff. He did it without the vocals, so he has it in his head that it's going to be like a more of a metal song that doesn't have the traditional. So seeing something like that where it's like they go through, this is how you do it, and then you think how it applies to other things you've seen. It's extremely relatable to me because of making songs, and it goes the same thing with making videos, and it goes the same thing with doing your record layout and how you put songs on the record and stuff. So
does a different person win that fight every time? Yeah. Like sometimes your guitar player will win it, sometimes the producer will win it.
No, I win it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part in that is it says A-list actor, A-list actor,
yes.
A-list actor, B-list actor, A-list actor.
Yes.
It says A- list actor.
Yeah. I love how the B-list actor has like with special guests too.
Yeah.
Like they get a special attention.
And Minnie Kaling.
But the and is also just as important, right? Whoever gets last credit is just as important as who gets first credit.
Yeah.
If they have the and title, if it has the and also featuring.
Yeah.
Right?
Is with ... and then end ...
Yes.
Yeah.
So, maybe this is all Disney's fault for not following this template better.
Since we're crapping on Disney, can we pivot to just talking crap about Rachel Zegler a little bit? I wanted to give you a platform to talk about Rachel Zegler, talk about Snow White.
I love her. I love the movie. I can't wait to see it.
So
I'm going to see it 3 times. I've already given it a 4-star review.
Yeah.
There's a $20 super
haven't
chat
even
there.
seen it yet, and you just know you're going to love it.
Sure.
There's a $20 super chat there from, I can't even pronounce that.
Squeeblop, Nudist,
High Priest.
High Priest. Late in today, I voted Nerf, but only because the Hitachi magic wand wasn't an option. Stay toxic, friends.
From time to time, I still look for. I had a Thundercats. I had the sword from Thundercats when I was a kid, and I lost it, and I never found it. And like, in my more immature moments, I'm like, should I just buy it? I could just buy it now off eBay. Like I found it. It's right there.
You're always searching on eBay for the weirdest things.
It's kind of like every few months I look for like
You're looking
replica
for Savannah Bananas used hats.
I was looking for new hats, but they didn't have any. But like every few months I look for like an original, like a replica of the Winged Eagles WWE Championship belt, and then I have to tell myself, you have literally no reason to buy this. It serves no purpose in your life. You're not even gonna. You're gonna regret it.
But does it spark joy?
See, I tried telling myself that stuff, but I know I'm a fucking liar. So
it's just I don't need it. Like it has no practical purpose in my life.
I own night vision.
But that's yeah. But it's attached to a hobby. But it's attached to a hobby that you're more fervently
driving at night.
Well, yes, exactly.
You're going to have that, and you're going to look at it, and you're going to have good feelings about it for like months.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
So you guys are horrible influences. Horrible influences. So are you kind of fascinated by how she's just made just about every wrong move possible?
You think it's impossible to do it, to get to be wrong and then wronger than super wrong. But she does it. She's amazing.
Do you think she just got famous too quickly and isn't sure what to do with it?
That's part of it. And also, but a lot of these actors have handlers. They've got press teams. They've got marketing executives. They've got people protecting the brand. So they should be the ones stepping in and say, hey, Rachel.
But she's doing these at public events. They can't catch her in time. She needs like a handler who just stands by her, and as soon as they hear her start saying something, they just grab her arm gently.
Or they're just hoping and praying the strike continues long enough to keep her at bay.
That's a good idea. Give her like the ring that they used to have people wear, where you do it and it buzzes their hand, but you puts it around her wrist.
Just get a shepherd's crook and just
that's right.
yank her out of frame. Do a Lil Bo Peep movie.
That's how she could win people back. Yeah. What she does is she leans into it and she makes skits where she's about to say something stupid and somebody just pulls her off. If she got irreverent and weird about it, she might actually be able to win people back. But she's never going to do that.
She's not smart enough.
That is genius. I love it. To show self-effacing, it'd be amazing.
Actually do a thing where there's a foot in her mouth. Like
her so-called apology video was her saying, look, I'm grateful for what I do, but I want people to stop sending me death threats. That was pretty much it.
Fair thing to ask for.
It is, but I I got a death threat from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah,
I'm not remotely famous. If you're famous, you can get horrible people saying horrible things about you. I mean, thankfully, it doesn't lead to anything, right? Yeah. It's just people being jerks, you know. Yeah. But you got to let that. I mean, if there's something more significant, obviously you have to worry about that. But
she's a jerk. She should know what it's like.
Yeah, it's like that's what she gets for dressing up as AOC for Halloween.
You know, but did you see that?
She dressed up as AOC for Halloween.
How'd she look?
Like AOC.
She's good looking. She's good looking. There's a $20 one there from Disco Jensen.
He said, Oliver Anthony proves that the culture truly shifts when we create our own. I'm honestly tired of Hollywood standards for films. I hear a lot about values, but see so little expressions of them with commissions.
I think it's a good point. I mean, one of the reasons why I connected with everyone except certain people is that it said something that spoke to us. Yeah. It was different. It was fresh.
It didn't speak to me because I'm a spoiled podcast princess, but I appreciate your take on it.
He couldn't anticipate your reaction. But as far as Rachel goes,
that's she's like, though, right?
I think she's like 22. And maybe she's like 20, 21 when she's getting this burst of fame.
Well, no, because that's really not even true. Because
well, she was 17 when she got.
She was 17 when she got casted, right? But
it takes a while.
She did West Side Story.
Yep.
And nobody cared.
Nobody cared
because it's West Side Story in 2022, and nobody cared.
But she's getting a lot of press coverage. Yeah. She's getting interviews. She's getting other gigs. She's working with Spielberg,
and she's doing the Hunger Games movie, right?
Was she in the Shazam movie, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a flood of pretty high-profile roles.
Very quickly.
And you're a young person, and it goes to your head, but there's no one in her circle to say, Rachel, I don't know, you know, it could all go away tomorrow, which it probably will.
I mean, she'll, if she doesn't stay in Hollywood proper for big films, she'll end up leading a television show a couple years from now.
Yeah.
You know, she'll get a gig doing like a high profile thing either for Netflix, or she could be one of those people that like a decade from now ends up headlining a network television show and do that for 10 years and make a ton of money.
Or she's on Cameo getting money.
There you go.
To record a happy birthday greeting.
Hi guys. She does like a thing where she like just yells at you and pretends you don't matter. Like that becomes her thing.
She says
she has
all this horrible stuff about men, and I just wonder, like, this girl does have a boyfriend. How does he feel about it? Like, does he read that and think like? Whoa.
Well, she tells him what to feel, so it works out.
And then her male co-star also.
That was the one that bothered me. Was the way was how dismissive she was about like what might happen to her male co-star's role in the movie.
Then he's not going to get paid for every minute that's streamed online, is he?
I'm thinking for Cameo, she just calls up and insults you. You've got so much privilege. You think you can just make me speak to you? How dare you?
I love it.
You know, actually, now that I think about it, what she said about getting paid for minutes streamed of Snow White, it makes no sense for smaller actors, because then they would just start cutting smaller roles so that they have less people to pay residuals to.
Yep.
Does she not get that? She's just not very bright.
None of them get anything. They're all
their job isn't economy.
Yeah, and they're all
math class is tough.
Math class is tough.
They're going to be obsolete in a decade.
Yeah.
Like at the most, and it's going to, just like it's done in the music industry, it's going to hurt the small people the most. Because there's gonna still be big actors and actresses. There's still gonna be I'm sure that there'll be, you know, AI actors and actresses that are you know, completely and totally created, that are virtual, but there's still going to be people that'll be big actors and actresses. But what's going to happen is when you need to have a room full of people, CGI.
Yep. You know, I just read a story and they talked to these actors who are background stars. They fill out the scenery and they said, yeah, I went in for the role. I got it. I was paid. They made me get scanned. They said I'd have more work coming in a couple of weeks, and all the work dried up. Like 4 or 5 people had the exact same story. They made them feel weird and creepy. I couldn't call my agent to say, should I do this or not? And then the work dried up, like again and again and again. Really weird.
They're just going to start
already
showing
testing
up.
It out.
How does that work, given that likeness is protected? Is it because they're not famous enough?
I don't know.
Part of the thing is they haven't, and I'm not saying that this is a great idea, but Sam Altman is doing this thing where, I guess it's a world coin or something like that. But the point is, to get verified for it, you have to go and you have to get your eyeball scanned. Ooh. And that is supposed to be what prevents an AI or a virtual creation of you. So it's supposed to be able to verify that it's a real person and that it's not AI.
That's amazing.
I don't know the details about it. I talked about it a little bit a couple nights ago on IRL. I don't know the details. But that's something that, you know, there's going to be companies and people looking for ways to ensure that your identity and your likeness is your own. Yeah. And it's something that, people are going to have to figure out how we're going to, how we're going to navigate this.
Yeah. By the way, I was watching Private Parts, the Howard Stern movie.
Yes.
97. It's an excellent movie. It's aged beautifully. And one thing I noticed, actually two. One, you know actress Leslie Bibb? You probably know her face.
Yes, I do.
She had maybe a 5-second role behind, in the background, ushering people in. She was playing an intern at the studio. And then later, there were main characters in the car. In the backseat was one of Howard Stern's wife's girlfriends. It was Edie Falco.
Okay.
So she was an actress who was trying to get her break, getting some experience being a walk-on star. And
Nobody's
AI is
gonna
going
be
to
able to
wipe
do
that
that
out.
now.
So
That's funny because Leslie Bibb has got one of the most. She's got a very, very distinct face.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
she would do, she's probably the type of person they would salivate over actually being able to make an AI face of because she has such a distinct look.
it's not cookie cutter.
No, it's not. She has very sharp features.
Yes, yeah.
So that's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And I have to rewatch that movie. That's good that it's aged well, though.
It's
That's good.
it's funny as heck.
All right, Mary. Let's go to Super Chats, shall we?
Disco Jensen said, "It's eugenics propaganda as usual." I don't remember what we were talking about when this was sent.
Okay. Well, then it was eugenics propaganda.
Oprah? I don't know.
Maybe it was Oprah propaganda.
Tacti Platty said, "Phil, you rock. Thanks for the retweet."
Cheers.
And have you thought of your song lyric that you're going to scream yet?
Yeah, why not? I will not relent. How's that? All right.
Perfect.
Nice.
Great.
Amazing.
Isaac Martinez said, "Even Oppenheimer knows that Blue Beetle will bomb at the box office. Never underestimate a toy doll and a scientist."
Can't wait. Can't wait. We're going to have so much fun tonight. Seems so great.
By the way, if Oppenheimer
exhilarating.
was directed by anyone else besides Christopher Nolan, I'm thinking 20 million at the box office.
Yeah. I mean, based solely off of
the Nolan bros came out and drove.
They did. I mean,
I literally saw
with their
them.
girlfriends
I saw
they're
them,
going to mansplain to
I saw
while
them
grabbing the back
mansplaining.
of their necks.
I saw them mansplaining right there in the theater. Like, it's a bomb. That's Einstein. Albert. Yeah, I saw that in the theater. But that's funny, too, because when I think of all the other vanity projects that have come out, whether Asteroid City, what else, what did we go see last year, Mary? What were the vanity projects that we saw last year? The one with Denzel Washington's son? The one with Christian Bale? You know what I'm talking about? Christian Bale.
I'm trying to think.
It was Christian Bale, Margot Robbie.
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
Yes.
Nobody cared.
Nobody saw it.
Nobody cared.
It
Nobody
was
saw
kind of cute, but totally forgettable and pointless.
What have they made any other biopics recently?
We didn't see Elvis.
Big George Foreman.
I still haven't. They have the Foreman one that's like a streaming one though, right?
No, it was in theaters for 5 seconds.
Okay.
Didn't do well.
There was Baz Luhrmann's Elvis. That one actually made money though, I guess. So most of the other biopics don't seem to do.
There's a Madonna one coming.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
There was a Whitney Houston one
Yeah, that
at
one
the
didn't
same
do well
time,
either.
right?
Yeah.
I Wanted to Dance with Somebody.
Did it do well?
No.
No, okay.
Nobody cares.
And the actress in it was quite good. I forget her name, but she was a good choice.
Nolan is his own thing.
It's an event. He made that movie an event.
Priscilla Presley biopic, I guess, coming
Sophia Coppola
later
is
this
directing.
year.
Only Nolan can make like government committee hearings interesting.
Yeah.
Really, you know.
Yeah. Disco Jensen said, "That Batman comment really put me off Blue Beetle. Batman is the best hero. Don't at me."
Yeah.
That's what they call him, a fascist, right? Batman?
It's so current here.
Wait, what Batman comment from the director?
In the trailer, his uncle says Batman's a fascist. It's just so current year.
Yeah.
Oh, I am excited. Have you seen Gran Turismo yet?
No, I think Tuesday I'm seeing
I'm very excited for Gran Turismo.
It was really confusing because they changed the release date, so our tickets got refunded, and then I couldn't figure out when it was actually coming out.
Yep.
1,000 Foot Deep End said, "All these types of statements tell me they don't believe their movie is good enough to get people to want to see without guilt tripping them into theaters. It's a big turnoff."
But that doesn't work.
I agree, but I think it's a great point.
It doesn't work. It's not like I've never spent.
We're just not that into your movie.
Let's hold off on the rest and we'll come back afterwards. All right, guys.
Okay.
Let's move on. So, as I said earlier, the point I was making was that Hollywood always gathers the wrong lessons. Every time they succeed, they're like, let's figure out how we could screw this up. They're doing this right now because Barbie is a $1 billion movie at the box office. And I think one thing that everyone can agree on, whether you like the movie or you didn't like the movie, what it tells us is that Hollywood needs to stop shoehorning women into roles that traditionally go to men, a la sometimes superheroes, spy thrillers, action roles, and focus on telling stories about women by women within the framework of their own world, right? It works. But that's not what they're gleaning from this. What they're gleaning from this, let's make more movies about toys.
Yeah, so Randall Park pointed this out. He said this industry is taking the wrong lessons. For example, Barbie is this massive blockbuster, and the idea is make more movies about toys. No, make more movies by and about women. Now, when Randall Park says this, he's saying it in a more of a woke, feminist frame. Like, he wouldn't have cared whether Barbie made money. He would say, like, still make more movies by women for women because, you know, female solidarity or something. Yes. But then now, like, all of these companies are thinking, like, what brand can we make a movie out of instead of what story can we get people to, you know, be interested in? Like, it's a way to engage with brands rather than people.
Yeah.
He's right, but it's a little bit like Robert Downey Jr. saying that if women ruled the world, we'd have no war and it'd be all peace. Like, oh, really? Come on.
Sort of like that.
Come on, man.
Hasbro has launched Hasbro Entertainment, and some of the IP they're going to make movies out of include Nerf, G.I. Joe, Play-Doh, Peppa Pig, Transformers, My Little Pony, Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering.
The Dungeons and Dragons movie didn't do that well either.
It was actually, I thought it was charming.
People liked
it. It didn't make enough money.
It didn't make enough money to justify a sequel. Also, I asked the chat a question, ladies and gentlemen. I said, which toy would you make a movie? Would you like to see a movie about? Right now, in first place is Hot Wheels. I imagine a Hot Wheels being kind of like Twisted Metal or Fast and the Furious.
Well, there is a Hot Wheels movie coming, so we're good.
Yeah,
that's already happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Play-Doh is in third place with 19%.
You're not making a movie about damn Play-Doh.
Let's go.
Let's just show kids eating Play-Doh.
And then Nerf is in second place with 33%. My Little Pony is in third place. We got some bronies in the chat.
Yeah, you're on watch.
Who want to see the brony movie?
It's a little sus.
But look, I could see a Nerf movie happening. Maybe like Small Soldiers.
After Barbie, everyone is going to want a G.I. Joe.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've done G.I. Joe, and they were not really that. I mean, I like them, but I understand why people who love G.I. Joe don't like them. They're not really accurate to the lore.
But Barbie's such a unique property.
Yeah.
It's a toy. There's a history. You got feminism. You've got an evolving culture. You've got generations of fans. There's so many.
The creator
things
is an
tied.
interesting person as well.
Yeah, just the whole thing is so unique. I don't think you can say, oh, let's make a lesson from that movie because it's such a unicorn.
Yeah. And in my opinion, I think it is because women have been starved for movies made about them at theaters. They're making movies for women. They're just doing it off of men's properties that women aren't interested in seeing. Women don't want to go watch superhero movies, even if it's a woman starring in the movie.
Yeah, feminists think that women feminists think that all men are the president and that all women should try to be the president.
Yeah.
And anyone that's not the president, it's either the president or their dad. and there's nobody else.
Or the
wacky
neighbor.
Like they're starved for something that's not. What was the Don't Worry, Darling? Like that actually ended up doing okay, didn't it? At the
yeah, it wasn't the bomb and it wasn't a huge hit, but it did okay.
But they're
it
starved.
Sounded like a Handmaid's Tale reimagined.
But they don't need all the movies about women to be depressing and.
I don't want all the movies about women to be like depressing dystopian worlds where men are oppressing you and you have to rise up. Like that's not
so
really.
Maybe the idea is that there's a market for summer blockbusters that are for women. It's just a very unique market. Because
what about rom-coms? Whatever happened to rom-coms?
Yeah,
no. What I'm saying is that
blockbusters put at least in my mind they put in your head this big movie with a lot of action and explosion, blah blah blah, and women aren't looking for action movies. They're looking for movies about relationships.
And that costs less anyway.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That Barbie is a unicorn because it is technically a summer blockbuster, kind of, sort of, really.
Yeah.
But most blockbusters have themes that are geared to men, like you're saying, right? Like CGI, explosions, that type of stuff.
When you saw Barbie, what was the audience like? Did they dress up?
Yes, there were tons of women dressed up like in pink,
Yes.
going in girl groups, getting the pink cocktails. It was like a whole moment for them. They take the pictures in the Barbie box. Like, it's more than just the movie, which is why I think they paid so little attention to what was wrong with the movie.
I agree, and that's exactly what I had. I went to a screening, and it was just like that. Women looking beautiful dresses, high
Looking
heels.
better than the actresses in some cases.
Doesn't that kind of speak to the fact that it's just an excuse for girls to get girled up?
We'll give them more excuses.
Only release movies for women during brunch.
And I'm not saying I'm not saying it's a bad thing either.
Yeah.
That I'm a dude that thinks like it's cool when chicks dress like chicks. Like I like women. So like, yeah. I mean, I think
give them more excuses.
Exactly what I'm getting at. Give people more excuses to go and do stuff with their friends. A reason. I mean, it is there. Like there is something to be said about like getting kind of dressed and going out and doing something. You know, shave your face, wash your butt, and like get yourself together and go out and do something social.
Yeah, and like when we're thinking of feminist movies, female filmmakers, things that are made for women, it's usually, like you said, Brett, something depressing. Like, I don't think any girls are going for a girls' night out to see The Woman King or to see Don't Worry, Darling, or to see Women Talking, which is literally about a religious fundamentalist community reacting to sex abuse.
You know what this is? You know what that means? You know who needs to sneak up in here right now? The Hallmark Channel needs to go to theaters and just start making big budget Christmas movies.
Literally, Christmas movies, rom-coms. Where are they? Where are they in the movies right now? They're all on streaming.
A big budget Christmas movie, a big budget rom-com.
Didn't that
Christmas
Jennifer
movie.
Lopez, Owen Wilson rom-com last year do really well?
No, it did. Yeah, and it's hard to watch.
It's weird because like they have such big name recognition,
Yeah.
and I guess they felt like they could lean on that.
It's a horrible story. When
Then
you
the
read those
next
stories.
rom-com I remember is Bros.
Yeah.
Well,
which
Ticket
wasn't for women.
Ticket to Paradise did pretty well. That was Julia Roberts and George Clooney. And then Shotgun Wedding was okay, and that one went mostly to
the
streaming
Channing
now.
Tatum one with Sandra Bullock did well the year before.
Lost City.
Lost City, but that was like not just a rom-com.
It was adventure
It was an
rom-com.
adventure
One of the biggest problems with Barbie is that she didn't get with Ken at the end.
Yeah.
I think that, it's fine if they chose to leave Barbie Land and become human, but Ken should have made that decision with her, gone with her, and they get married at the end.
It's time to make the Xena
That'd be the
Warrior
best
Princess
ending.
movie. How have they not made a Xena Warrior Princess movie?
That is surprising, yeah.
It's like it's kind of like how that.
Don't give them any ideas.
I'm still surprised that they haven't remade the show Dark Angel from James Cameron from the early 2000s, which is literally like a hot female mutant, like half human, half mutant, who's like all the superhero before superheroes were big in the industry. So they could have done that, but they're not going to do that because they're going to keep just shoehorning them into ones that were originally made for men. Men aren't going to want to go see them in the same numbers. Men still consistently come out for the superhero movies about women more than women do, and the women only go because the men drag them along to go see it for the most part. But maybe what was the Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum one called?
Lost City.
Lost City. That might be where they need. That might be the middle ground that they need to find their niche to make big budget, but for women to draw them to theaters. Because what it is like normally, like say the husband and the wife, they switch off picking their movies for the weekend. If the wife picks that one, the husband's going to have a lot less pushback for something that at least seems like it slightly appeals to him, right?
I agree.
Like, I think they could do that. I think we could end up seeing something like that. We need a renaissance for women's movies because Ocean's 8 did okay, if I remember correctly.
It did pretty well.
It did pretty well. Like there's something to be said that there are movies to be made that appeal to women. Obviously, that's not what that is. That was still a shoehorn of the story. But it's like they haven't cracked the formula yet. And
Are men the majority of theater goers?
I believe so.
I'm going to guess so, but I don't know for sure. I need to see the numbers on that, honestly.
Yeah.
They probably are, if I had to guess.
Like it's just it just feels like they're because Hollywood's always trying to tap the market for the phantom audience that doesn't actually exist, and there is an audience for women wanting to get dressed up and go to the movies with their friends, but you got to give them a reason to be there.
Like Sex and the City, the first movie. I think the second one was pretty bad, but that was like an event. You go, you dress up, you have your apple teenies before you see the movie. That's need like and Barbie's the modern version of that.
Yeah. Now they'll do a Sex in the City Barbie crossover.
Please no.
Barbie in the City.
Please
It's going
no.
to come out and it's going to be amazing. Sarah Jessica Parker.
It starts
will
off right when she leaves the gynecologist office.
And just like that, I have got genitalia.
Yes. It's so funny. Zach from Comics Matter like reviewed all of it in just like that. Like this guy who does he's a second channel where he does movie reviews. It's all like comic book and action movies and then just random episodes of Sex in the City. It's amazing. So like, look, there is a market to be filled here and they're not doing it. But what of these would you like to? Oh, also I have to show you this map. Somebody made like you've seen the Marvel every time Marvel has a new phase, they list out all the movies on screen. There's this great you can see it right here. Barbie, Polly Pocket 2023, Ken Origins,
Oh, no.
The Pink Knight Rises, Magic 8 Ball. I think there's a horror movie Magic 8 Ball movie to be made. Like the Ouija.
Yeah.
Like the Ouija board. Hot Wheels and Uno. Also, there was another one made. It was like a scientist cinematic universe. It was like Oppenheimer, and then after that was like Feynman, and it lists all these famous scientists, and then finally it gets to like E=mc², is like the Avengers of it.
What is that other one?
They did make a Young Einstein, but it's a way different movie.
This one?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what.
Is it sort of like the Bop It?
Must be. Like, did you see that video?
Twist it, pull it.
Yes. They could do that.
The Bop It.
I
It will have a
disapprove of
movie.
all of this.
Yes. Well, you don't want any of this?
Disavow.
Yeah.
Disavow.
So, we'll see where it goes, but I want to see women have, because other things, it might lead to less polarization. So if guys don't feel like their movies are constantly being encroached upon and having their scripts changed for the sake of women, it might help if they start making some actual movies for women.
No, that's the point.
I know. I'm thinking utopian here. Okay, I'm thinking utopian here.
Fine.
I know they wouldn't
Fair
actually do that.
Fair enough.
But I'm
Fair enough,
thinking
fair.
positive.
I'm not against female action heroes. They're great. Some of the actresses do a wonderful job. But I'd love to see a woman in an action movie when the bleep hits the fan, she says, eek, and then runs away. Like, actually act like a woman might.
Yeah.
Much like a dude might do that.
Well, no, that's how they do that in the movies now. The guy does that.
Yes,
in
right,
the
that's the
movie
guy.
now, the guy goes, eek,
Yeah.
I'm scared, and runs away.
And then the girl
woman
beats up the monster and pees on standing up.
It hits him with a copy of Feminist Theory.
Right.
Right?
Pees stands over and pees.
Yes, it's
like
it's
standing
fantastic.
up on it.
I want to see them do better with this stuff because I think there's a way we could find some way back to the middle where the guys get the guy movies and the girls get the girl movies.
I mean, I think that's going to happen because people are rejecting strongly the essentially the dissolution of the sex dynamic.
Gender roles. Like traditional gender roles.
I mean, I kind of like the idea of not using the term gender personally, like the sex differences between people.
Sexual dimorphism.
Yeah, because men are, because I used to believe there was a time where I found the argument that gender and sex are different. I found it compelling. I don't find it quite as compelling as I used to. So,
and what you're saying actually is ironic because movies want, what they call it, a 4-quadrant, like it appeals to this, it appeals to that. And then they do things that are just separating us. Like have it do things that really Lost Cityize the whole process where you're thinking about everybody.
Yeah. Well, but also isn't the kind of the arguments like when you try to appeal to everybody, you end up appealing to nobody?
Yeah, that's it. But I think good writing is good writing. I think Lost City was a very well-made movie. It was smart, had appealing actors. So you can do that. But you're right. There is that fear that you water it down so much.
Yep. All right. Let's go to Super Chats.
Rick Bungle said, Mary, did you ever see the Austin Powers movies? I'm pretty sure I've seen all of them multiple times, but it's been a while since then.
Did you like them?
Yeah, I like them.
Amazing.
Probably-
Can't make those movies today now either.
Why not?
Bring on the sexy stews.
Yeah.
We're called flight attendants.
Why couldn't you make that?
Fat bastard wouldn't happen today.
Well, he's
Fatphobic?
also kind of a womanizer. That doesn't go over well,
Yes.
right?
that's a man baby.
Yeah, you can't do that. And
Thank you,
guys. And fembots.
Oh, yeah. Make a Fembots movie.
Let's go.
The Fembots movie would be cool.
Make a gritty Austin Powers movie. I guess that's just James Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Papa Piker said, stop trying to make Blue Beetle the Hispanic Black Panther DC. His design is just Iron Spider with a I don't know how to say it. Lucador?
It's a mask that
Lucador mask?
Yeah,
it's what the pro wrestlers wear. Rey Mysterio.
You'll never replace El Zorro.
See, and remember, there were supposed to be 2 Zorros coming out. There was a Zorro movie, and then there was a female Zorro in the works. I don't know if that's Zora.
Do you guys remember Zorro the Gay Blade?
Yeah.
What? I don't know.
Zorro the Gay Blade? Yeah.
It's George Hamilton, I think, from maybe late 70s, early 80s or something.
1 bit, 2 bit, 3 bits of peso, all for Zorro. Just stand up and say so.
Let's just re-release From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah.
There you go.
Corey Anderson said, Phil, when does the new album come out?
Next year.
Perfect.
Disco
Everything
Jensen,
takes forever. Sorry.
Disco Jensen said, people collect memes like Pokemon cards now. Culture shifted to an instant access dopamine hits. History is getting more complex and less are learning.
History is not getting more complex.
A lot of wisdom in the super chats today, I have to say.
You don't think history, one of the things that I see a lot is people talk about being on the right side of history.
That's
and I laugh at that because I'm like, history is just written by whoever wins anyway, so it doesn't actually matter.
It's true. The right side of history, a lot of it comes from Gnosticism and having the idea that you have a secret knowledge that history is going somewhere, and you have the secret inside scoop on where it's going, so everyone has to listen to you.
I have that inside scoop, so follow me on social media. Let's do one more and then we'll move on.
Disco Jensen said, they're giving us the template so we can make our own.
Yeah, you've got the trailer.
Our own trailers. Can we make a Pop Culture Crisis trailer?
Oh, that's excellent.
Anybody in the chat wants to use that template to make a Pop Culture Crisis trailer, I invite you to do so and then share it with us on Twitter, I said.
Please do.
To be fair, think about it. Like they just broke it down for you because they actually have been showing you that exact blueprint every time they show you a trailer. It's just that they finally told you what they were doing.
All right, Mary, tell us about the Biohacker.
Yes, Brian Johnson is a 45-year-old billionaire. He created Venmo and sold it when he was 21, and he found out he had too much time and money on his hands. So he has created Blueprint, a regimen for reversing the aging process, and he believes that he can somehow get back to the 18-year-old boy that he once was. Part of this regimen is injecting his teenage son's blood plasma into his body. And he claims that this has positive effects.
My question is, how did that conversation first come up? Like, hey, son.
No, okay, so he said this happened because he first donated his plasma to his dad in the same, like, experimental way. And then when his son found out about this, he was like, hey, can I try it? And he believes that this is helping him, literally reverse the aging process, turn back the clock so he can become 18 years old again. And it would be one thing if he just said, we're doing an experiment. We're seeing if it could help us, have better health outcomes. It's not that big of a deal. But rather he's like describing it like it's an emotional bonding thing.
Look at the second picture of him right there. There's a picture of him and his kid. And
let's
then
show some pictures
him
of this
with
guy.
that shirt. The reason that he says the stuff that he says is because of what makes him decide that that's a shirt is a good idea to wear. Look at that thing.
Yeah.
All this weird, crazy, like eccentric stuff. It's all part of the package. He's a nutbag.
Christian was saying the same thing about that shirt. Not a good shirt.
Yeah, that shirt right there says, you can expect me to say something absolutely batshit crazy very soon.
Imagine the shirts you rejected.
Right, right.
I don't think it's a great idea after Theranos to take the picture holding the vial of blood like that, looking crazed into the camera. He's like the male Elizabeth Holmes or some weird love child between Gwyneth Paltrow and Patrick Bateman. That's how I would best describe him.
I'm sorry, but my favorite part is like we talk a lot on the show about like people who look younger, people who look older. This guy's whole thing is that he wants to look younger. He looks exactly his age. He looks like if you looked up 45 years old in the dictionary, it's a picture of this dude.
If this guy thinks he looks a day younger than 45, he is absolutely off his rocker.
Yes.
Listen, I want to look at what Paul Rudd is eating and his regimen. I'm on it because that dude doesn't age.
Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
Rob Lowe.
Another thing this guy does is he eats 111 pills per day.
Yum.
Oh.
That's a meal.
Yum.
Sounds
I eat 4
really
a day.
healthy.
I get heartburn. I'm sorry.
Yeah. What is just what supplements?
supplements and other unspecified drugs, whatever they are.
Put them on a plate. That would be like heaping, like a big bowl of spaghetti, but pills.
Yes, yeah.
What is it? What is it in our society that has this deep sea, especially I guess in Hollywood and people of levels of wealth and fame to stay young, an unbelievable desire to stay young.
Well, I get that because as you get older, you change, and there's always someone younger and better looking behind you.
Getting older sucks.
It sucks. I mean, between the physical pain, but also just your look.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're going to see Tom Cruise very quietly start to de-age himself over the next 10 years.
Oh,
and
the
I don't
movies.
know. I mean, I don't know if they may not announce it. He's gonna be the same. I think
he just never ages because they never allow him to age in the movies. That's freaking perfect.
He's almost 60 now, right?
He's 60. Might be 61. He's 60 or 61.
$20 super chat right there.
It's not showing up for me.
Oh, okay. It's from Bullet Shepherd. Says, Phil, your tweet to that dude about the Afghan pullout telling him to go beyond bumper sticker libertarianism was the highlight of my day. I have to tell libertarians it all the time because they are so naive and purist.
Yeah, and that guy, I think he means well, but he is engagement farming, and he does it by just putting out, what essentially are just libertarian truisms or platitudes. There's no thought in anything that he puts out.
What did he say?
He said something about the pullout, I said something about the pullout. I said that the pullout that Biden did last year, 2 years ago, was handled badly. And
that's what she said.
He had a take that was like, oh well, you're saying that we should have stayed in there, and I was like, no, I'm saying that it was that the strategy to leave was right, but the tactics and the method was wrong, and he kept acting like I was saying it was a bad idea.
Because you said you get rid of you're supposed to evacuate personnel before you evacuate the military. Right?
Yeah, you keep the guys with the guns stay on the ground, and when you decide you're going to leave, all the guys that had guns that were not pointing them at the Afghans, they all get around you in a circle and they point guns outward while you leave. And then they point the guns at everybody while they get in the planes and leave. That's how you leave in a place where people want to throw bombs and shoot at you. And that's what you do. And that's not what happened. And this particular guy, Josh, he was poking and engagement farming, but he does that constantly. They're just super bad, well, not bad, but they're super simple ideas that are best on bumper stickers.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Biden has a weak pullout game.
He does.
So, true. Look,
speaking of which, this guy also tracks the number of nightly erections that he gets.
That is the best segue ever, by the way. Just, Mary, you nailed it.
And he also he's selling a course on penis rejuvenation. I'm not kidding. He's pitching this saying, listen here, shorty, the girth of my protocol will have your joystick at full salute and ready to gear shift like a toy soldier.
I already hate this.
Sincerely, Octagon Johnson.
God.
So at least he has a sense of humor about how crazy he is.
To be fair, I think Rachel Zegler's a charmer compared to this guy.
that is fairly true. That is fairly true.
But I just can't imagine how or why you would track such a thing and what it has to do with.
Well, I think why is because his obsession with use is likely obsession with his virility and with sexuality and with his own
He already has progeny. He has a couple of sons.
I didn't say that it was reasoned. I didn't say that I agree with them. I'm just don't shoot the messenger here, Mary.
It's just the way that he comes off is very unhinged, burdened and depressed, but very detached from reality. Part of his routine is 4 to 5 hours of deep thought a day, where he just sits there and just thinks.
Yeah. Well, if you sell Venmo and get $1 billion,
that is true.
He has the time.
He does.
He should obsess on wisdom and life lessons because he has neither. So he should.
Yeah. It's really weird that he's framing the blood plasma thing as we feel closer when we do this.
It's really creepy.
You could just say, it's a health experiment, but you had to go there.
Yeah, he could also do all of this stuff and still act like a normal human being that was born of another human being and that came from Earth and stuff. you know, but he wants to act like he's, you know, a character from the future. Like,
here's my trick: go play catch with your kid.
Right? You know?
I think that'll work.
His obsession with immortality means that he's not going to actually live a life worth living. He thinks that he's going to live to 200. He said that.
The bad guys in the movies are the ones usually looking for immortality.
I mean, look, I will be the first person to say that one of the things that I really dislike the most about the idea of death is not getting to see what happens after I die. Oh my gosh. Like all the cool shit that's going to happen after that I die that I'm going to miss out on knowing about, that's a drag, right? Like, so I can get it, because honestly, all the cool shit that I've seen in my life, I'm super excited to see what happens in the next 30, 40 years.
We have
right?
AI covers of Cartman singing "Bring Me to Life."
You know, but like, so there is that, you know, but some people the motive, I think
he doesn't even say, oh, it's so that I can be with my sons for as long as possible. It's just completely a selfish endeavor.
I'm not sure what the motivation is for this guy. You know?
Maybe we can
sell more products.
We can get an Eric Cartman version of Richmond, north of Richmond.
Yeah,
I'm sure you
need that.
You probably could right now. I bet there's probably an AI out there who could do it.
I just noticed that the bad guys in the movies tend to be the ones who are searching for immortality, and they go to unbelievable lengths, and they do very, very bad things while searching for it. So,
and that would be used for what? Population control.
Yes. So this guy just doesn't seem like the smartest guy, or doesn't seem like the nicest guy.
He's smart.
He's a smart
He's
guy.
just not moral.
Or human.
How do you feel about immortality?
I think that there are plenty of health technologies that, you know, are ethical and have led to longer life expectancy, but the attempt to actually change the human lifespan is different than trying to help people live longer in their natural lifespan. Yeah. There are plenty of things that people do to hurt their health that means you're going to shorten the lifespan that you naturally had.
And we've done so much with
so we have therapies and treatments for that.
Yeah.
But it's not a medical treatment to try to live 200 years.
Yeah.
That's something like eugenics.
Is the 200 years just like a off the top of his head number he just came up with? Like
it's modest.
At 201 years, he's like, I'm tired, I'm going to bed.
That's right.
Like,
I'm out of facelifts.
He's like, at 201 years, he's like, that's it. I'm
guys,
done.
believe it or not, this guy has trouble finding dates.
Oh, no.
It says his commitment to his routine, which includes an 8:30 p.m. bedtime, eating 2,250 calories once a day between 6 a.m. and 11 a.m., and 4 to 5 hours of concentrated thought, hasn't made him the most available romantic partner. He said, in circumstances where I've tried to date, the first thing I do is give them a list of 10 things. Like, here's all the things you're going to hate about me and all the things that are going to make me an impossible partner for you. It's a big deal.
Just 10?
Yeah.
I got 20 off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. I wonder if this guy's going to end up with something.
He also hates snuggling because it interrupts his sleeping patterns.
That is the thing that is going to guarantee that no woman wants you. You need to fix that, homeboy.
He's like, I don't want to be the big spoon or the little spoon. I just want to live forever.
If you want a girlfriend, you better fix that real damn quick. How did you end up with a son?
2. I don't know where the mother is or what she's doing right now, but he has an ex-girlfriend who was a TV actress formerly, and I looked her up, and she seems to be sort of into this type of health, like she's frozen her stem cells. She created an AI clone of herself and makes AI music, sort of a wannabe Grimes, but I guess it didn't work out for them, and she ended up getting diagnosed with cancer, and he kicked her out of his house. So
what a bad person.
That's on her. That's on her. Come on.
Seriously, like what was she thinking? It's very depressing, these stories, but it makes sense. You've got all the money, you've got all the time.
Too much time.
You've got the vanity.
He looks, if anything, he looks older since he started all these weird therapies. If you look at a picture of him from 2018, he looked perfectly normal, healthy. Now he's got the weird box dyed hair, the concealer under his eyes.
You can see the makeup.
Yeah, the makeup and the crop tops. He looks sort of like he's on HRT, if anything.
It's not HRT. Well, maybe.
But if you looked at this guy without knowing his age first, what would you guess?
There's one picture out of the pictures on that webpage where he's got his shirt off where he looks like he's young. Everything else he looks like he's 40s.
Yeah.
He looks a little bit like the actor Tamo Pennicott, a little bit, but in general, he looks exactly his age to me.
Yeah.
He looks his age. I find the whole thing depressing because it's just the things you can focus on when you've sold your company for hundreds
You
of
could be
millions
helping
of
so many
dollars.
people with his money.
He says,
Hey, we don't tell the rich people what to do with their money here. You spend your money on what you want to spend it on.
You'd be doing a lot.
I've built my life around sleep. That's the opposite of cultural norms. Most people will blow their bedtime if they want to go out with friends. He also quit drinking, so he doesn't do that. And he says, my son and I have a protocol in the house where there's no exchange of good morning or how are you.
He just sounds like a freaking blast. And he's having a hard time dating. You don't say no cuddling.
Yeah.
No breaking your fast when it comes to your bedtime. And you wake up and she says, "Good morning, honey," and he just doesn't respond.
No human activity.
Yeah.
No, he's
interrupting my concentrated thought.
To be fair, I wonder if Elon is anything like this.
No, Elon's working the entire time.
Yeah.
Working like literally all day.
Elon seems way more normal.
It's
Which is
that's saying something.
crazy.
Yeah. He said, I probe myself to deep levels.
What?
But you can get knocked off so fast. Someone saying, how are you? How was your sleep? Can knock me off.
And he's like, I don't want to talk to you, plebeian.
He just seems like a bad person.
Yes, he does.
Imagine bragging that you don't say hello or good morning to your son.
And
not having the awareness to think that might be a little weird.
And I'm not going to say hello.
Why would you want to live like this for 200 years?
And I'm not going to say hello for 200 years. like his son ends up the bad guy because normally a kid doesn't. A kid in a movie that ends up the bad guy because his dad didn't love him very much only has a dad that didn't love him for a couple of years. Now the kid's going to become a supervillain because he's like, I had a dad that didn't say he loved me for 200 years.
Yeah.
Not a good person, man. Not a good person.
Not a good person.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Okay. Victor Von Derp said, wake up, sheeple. Mary is speaking positively about the 90s. That MF Mary is not real. She had been replaced by a doppelganger. That is all.
Well, if we had done that, we would have replaced her with somebody that liked Richmond, north of Richmond.
What did I say that was so bad about the 90s?
Did you? No,
I don't
he's saying
remember.
that you said something positive about the 90s. I don't remember what it was, though.
Am I notorious for hating on the 90s here?
Now you are.
I don't think so. Victor Von Derp said, did you ever get the Pizza Hut glasses, Brett? The red cranberry glasses that Pizza Hut used to have?
I love those glasses. They're amazing.
I did find the Pizza Hut cups on eBay. The red ones with the layered.
Like the dipple effect or something.
I found
think that's what he means.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he said sunglasses. Yes, I did actually.
Did you get them?
I do. I have them.
How many?
3.
Nice.
Came in a pack of 3. I liked it.
And how much did you spend on that?
$20.
Okay, that's not bad.
But what I like about the idea of that is that somebody just stole those one day.
They did.
Some dude's just to hell with you, now. Pizza Hut. And
sometimes you're at the brunch spot and there's this really cute mini skillet that holds one egg and you just want it.
Yeah. And Mary just puts it in her purse.
And you get a to-go box and things go. Yeah. Okay.
That's hilarious.
Bender McSimpson said, Brett, buy the belt. It'll make you happy.
I must resist.
That's gonna make you happy.
I just steal the belt. Listen to Mary.
I just need to.
I'm being an agent of chaos.
I just need to resist the desire to buy the WWF Championship belt. There'd be nowhere to steal it from. I can't steal it from eBay.
You can eBay it and then tell them you're sending it back.
Ask for my money back, and then okay, perfect.
Victor Von Derp said, no hate. I was reading this book titled Virtue Bombs and noticed quite a few spelling and grammar errors. Is there a market for a freelance editor?
I disagree with that. I had a publishing company look at that 16,000 times.
It's probably something like the word canceled with one L instead of 2.
There you go. Yeah.
Everyone mad.
Or you said bi-monthly and you were referring to the wrong version of bi-monthly.
Yes, exactly.
That person read my book, so God bless him or her.
Yeah.
I'm ending the poll, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So the winner today, if people who watch Pop Culture Crisis got to have a movie made about a toy tomorrow, it would be the Hot Wheels movie with 38%. 32% go to Nerf. I would love a Nerf movie, actually. I think that could work. Play-Doh gets 18%. I don't know what the hell a
I'm
Play-Doh
team
movie.
Play-Doh.
I don't know what the hell a Play-Doh movie would look like. But and then My Little Pony got 10%. So bronies, you're on watch.
10% of you.
And they'd all be about
You're
the
on
patriarchy.
thin ice.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. DC and C said, as far as I'm concerned, all the CGI Transformers movies aren't canon because Optimus Prime died in the 80s.
Oh.
Yeah, look, I love those.
Also, bronies would be out in force for a My Little Pony film.
Yeah, they would.
There aren't that many of them.
No, I don't know.
Would the furries probably the furries. The furries loved Zootopia.
There you go.
Oh.
And made a lot of illicit material about it.
So if you go see My Little Pony, how many seats do you say between like you and the next person? Like 3 or 4 seats, or
At least that. Maybe
I
just
might
get
wear a mask.
rent out the theater for just yourself.
There's a $20 chat there from Lord Crimson TV.
I don't know why these aren't showing up for me.
I'll read it. It says,
Sorry.
Laura, he says...
oh, sorry. It just showed up for me. Okay, randomly inserting that Blizzard, the game company, is getting flack right now by LATAM. What is that?
I don't play it, so I don't know.
Okay, players, because Blizzard forced gender-neutral words into their translation of their version of World of Warcraft.
No.
P.S. The words they use are not real words.
I mean, I buy it. We don't
stuff?
cover games here, but yeah, like I've seen
Maybe when Dane comes back.
Yeah, like I see plenty of hellscape in the video game world too. A lot of it to do with like how they when they make remakes of games, they soften the looks of the women characters. They have to make them less sexy because you're not allowed to have pretty things anymore. You're just not allowed to have that.
That's evil.
Yep.
Carnell said, "Can we get an all-women Super Soaker movie?"
Let's go! I'll direct that one. I'm down.
Very mature. High Voltage 75.
What are you talking about? Why are you excited about the Super Soaker movie?
Because he said an all-girls, like an all-women,
wet t-shirts,
like an all-women Super Soaker movie.
I missed that.
Let's go.
Let's go.
High Voltage 75 said, "Speaking of toys, PCC Brett and Mary action figures when?"
How about Funkos?
We just had a...
I would be philosophically opposed to being made into a Funko Pop.
We just had me and Kellen just talked about this last night. He goes, in yours can be like it's the bobblehead, or it's bobbleheads, but then you have a bobblehead hat that comes off for me, and it'll be interchangeable hats, so you can change the hat that I wear.
Nice.
I'm down, but Funko Pop's basically going out of business. They just laid off a bunch of people.
Oh yeah.
So,
Raymond G. Stanley Jr. said, "Brett, you ever watch Dollhouse with Eliza Dushku?"
Yes, and everyone should go watch it. Only got 2 seasons, deserved far more than that, and they forced poor J.J. Abrams to make the ending part 1 and part 2. Part 1 at the end of season 1 and part 2 at the end of season 2, and it's really, really good. The concept of basically human dolls that have their minds wiped, and you can upload another person's consciousness or attributes into the person and create it can either be an entirely different person who's had their consciousness uploaded into the system, or you can give a single doll various traits from different people. So you could have the martial arts skill of a master, of a kung fu master. You can have the intelligence of a guy who started a tech company. It was a really, really good show.
But it's not about actual dolls.
No, they're humans. They're called dolls.
Westworld.
Yes, in 2009, ahead of its time, and probably shouldn't have been a Fox Network show. Would have probably done better on cable, but it was very, very good for what it was. It had a lot of the people that you see cast in a lot of those JJs. Like there's Summer Glau's in it. That's probably why it went off the air, because Summer Glau was poisoned at that time, even though I love her work. And a lot of really, really good actors in there. Everyone should go check that out.
That's not like Weird Science. It isn't kind of a sexual fantasy. It's more like a...
or is that
an element of it?
Okay, so would
I have an issue with it?
It's not graphic.
Okay.
It's not graphic. But no, so the idea is essentially look, rich people, rich men can have attractive females have personalities uploaded into them, and then they can, there is sexual deviancy as far as their clientele, but it's never shown.
They upload their wife's personality.
So yes, okay. So there was who's the awful guy from? I'm not going to be able to remember his name right now. The comedian that everybody hates. He's really, really short.
Louis C.K.
No.
Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt. So he actually has an episode that's unbelievably moving where he plays a rich guy whose wife died years ago, who had his wife's consciousness uploaded to this company. And every year on his anniversary, he has his wife's consciousness uploaded into one of the dolls so that he can recreate their wedding night with her. And it's simultaneously creepy, moving, and really, really good.
Two things. I didn't know everyone hated him. I'm not a fan of his.
He's awful.
But also, I think didn't his wife die?
I mean, there's some conspiracy theories.
No, I don't mean conspiracy. I just think that she passed.
She did. She did, and that's like I don't remember what year she died. I don't know if they leaned into that role because she had passed away. But this was made in like 2009 or 2010. But he does an unbelievably good job in that episode, even if I find him to be a completely annoying person.
And he's unjustified too.
Yeah. He's not one of the best ones on Justified, though. No. Like, he's no Boyd Crowder, and he's certainly no Jerry Burns. Right? Yeah.
Victor Von Derp said, women dress up for the movies to sit in the dark. Make it make sense. They already have clothes for the dark. We call it lingerie. That is all.
Listen, you dress up in defense of women, and especially like feminine women. Women will dress up to go to the theater. They're just sitting there in the theater, too. Like, you get dressed up probably to go to dinner beforehand.
Yeah,
like
you're going from A to B. You're traveling.
You know,
and for the pictures.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, they had the doll outside that you could pose with. When we went, there was like a swap meet type thing where you could buy merch.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That I don't approve of.
What?
Well, actually, no. I take it back. I don't disapprove of it. I'm just like, that's not something that I would be like, oh, that's a positive.
Okay.
Okay. I wouldn't be like, get out of here with that stuff, but I definitely wouldn't be like, that's awesome.
Luis
especially
Aguilar.
Considering we're talking about like getting dressed up to go out for something, like just because you can get merch.
But I'm saying
like, when I think of getting dressed up to go places, I don't think of going to places where you can buy merch.
But this is the thing. They made it into something more than just a movie.
Fair
they made
enough.
it into a spectacle so that women could all go there. Like it was like mugs with Ryan Gosling's face on it. I love also because it's all totally not industry. It's not studio approved. These were absolutely people who made their own, who had Etsy stores.
And the Barbenheimer merch.
Yeah, and there was lots of Barbenheimer merch, which couldn't be legal because it wasn't made by the same studio.
Luis Aguilar said he looks like Data from Star Trek.
I didn't see that. He was talking about
the 45-year-old guy.
Was he talking about the 40? Yeah, I don't think he looks like Data from Star Trek.
There's one picture where I could.
Brett Spiner, right?
Yeah. There's one picture where it looked. I can see it.
I can understand why they would say that though, because even if he doesn't like physically look exactly like him, there's a whole lot of
I'm
vibe. You know, like,
Joss Whedon, not J.J. Abrams. I misspoke. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
That was my fault. It was Joss, and his brother did like one of the songs from that show. That was from the DJ Foy. Thank you for that, my friend. Yes, I misspoke there. I love that show, though.
Joss Whedon got canceled pretty hard, didn't he?
Yeah,
He went away.
Yeah,
he got mean-toed.
And I say that considering I also love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like I tend to love his shows more than his.
He had a great run.
Movies. He did. So.
The Last of My Kind said, "Nerf John Wick style. Sign me up."
Yes,
that'd be cool.
Holy crap! And they get Keanu to do it.
Yeah, you have to.
And it's just Keanu. Because, dude, Phil, did I show you the bolt action Nerf guns?
Yes.
Like they get Keanu in there with
somebody.
like, yeah. Oh no, they do the thing where they do the spring tests on them, where you have 3 different like spring tensions, and the third one he shoots this dude, and the dude goes and there's just a welt on this dude's back, and it's kind of always attached to
someone clipped Brett making that sound.
It's attached to the thing that says like why women live longer than men, and it's men just shooting really, really painful Nerf guns at each other, you know?
Wyatt Kaldenberg said, "Phil, have you heard Monster by Steppenwolf? Listened to it last night. It's 60 years old, but could be written today. What about a hard metal cover?"
I would have to take a listen to it. I have not heard it. Or at least I'm not familiar enough with it to be able to say that, oh, I recognize or I'm familiar with the song.
Also, Mary, there was a $20 one there from Will Roderick.
Once again, I'm not seeing it.
It
Sorry.
says, Phil, do you like country music? And have you heard the band Lakeview? I heard a few metal bands shout them out recently.
I've not heard Lakeview. I have a gold record because we did a cover of Garth Brooks's "The Thunder Rolls." Yes, I like some country music.
I have nothing wrong with country music.
No, there's
my mom loved country. My dad was a classic rock fan. My mom was a country fan.
The thing is, like,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The thing is, like, so I shared this video today of a bunch of people reacting to that, to the Richmond, North Richmond. Yeah. The reason people are, and it was a bunch of different kinds of people with all kinds of different backgrounds, that, you know, all different colors, all kinds of different Americans, right? And the reason all these different people with different backgrounds are reacting the way they are is because it's a good song first. It doesn't matter if it's a country song. You could redo that as an R&B song. Guaranteed you could redo it as an R&B song. You could redo it as any number of different styles and genres and still be a good song because it's a good song first. Anyhow.
Pete Conrad Jr. said, why does Mary always read the lewd erotic parts?
She doesn't read the lewd erotic parts. It's the whole point. She doesn't do that.
Shane H. Wilder said, calling dibs on making the PCC trailer. Give me a week or two. Also, 4 to 5 hours of thought. I'm struggling to find time for an hour of uninterrupted prayer.
Well, take your time, my friend.
Maybe make something equivalent to Venmo and sell it, and you'll have enough time.
There you go.
Lord Crimson TV.
We read that one already.
Oh, okay. Mr. X said that man has weapons-grade autism.
Probably.
Quite possible. Quite possible.
Very, very possible.
He needs the sensory deprivation tank. Lord Crimson TV said, Latin America. Also, I apologize for calling you a spoiled podcast princess, Mary.
Oh.
All is forgiven.
This is where we all come together.
Yes.
Just kidding. Shane H. Wilder said, Play-Doh film would be a medical drama after kids
Yes.
Eat it?
Yes.
eat it?
Yeah, eat it.
Oh.
It's
It's
really
like House. And then, you know.
There's the scene in House where like, he's like, my son swallowed a Lego, and he goes, how old is he? He goes, 8. He goes, Darwin says let him die. Or he's like, my son ate a refrigerator magnet. He's like, Darwin says let him die.
It doesn't seem lethal.
Well, no, in the episode, oh, by the way, reset the clock for whoever there was in the chat that said another day where Brett mentions the show House. No, you mentioned it first, so technically
I did.
even though I was going to mention
jumped
it.
in, man.
Because I know your love for House. I was trying to.
It's a masterpiece.
House is a great show.
JSpot51 said, who gave the order to pull air support before the ground forces? Nah, mean?
Yes, I do.
You know what he mean?
Yes.
Okay, Grofty said, party, buck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seth Essington sent $1 without a message. Thank you. High Voltage 75 said, Mary, I pick the most contrarian answer by default when I don't like any of the choices in the poll. Absolutely not a brony, that's all.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
thought the contrarian answer was Play-Doh.
Yeah. Yep,
But-
me too. All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Thank you very much for that. All right, who wants to go first? Let everyone know where they can find you, Christian.
Right here, right now. No, my website is hollywoodintoto.com. My podcast is the Hollywood in Toto podcast, and I love to speak to people who've been canceled, so I really enjoy that. Comedians who say what they want to say, and they love free speech. And then on Twitter, it's at hollywoodintoto. So my branding is spot on.
Perfect. Mary, there's one $20 one right there from Dave Gazuli.
Been away sans Wi-Fi, but absolutely loving the back and forth. Phil is what happens if the one chip challenge was a person. Spicy takes.
Is that you? Is that
I
you?
guess so.
That's you, buddy.
That's a compliment.
I'll take it.
I saw that they were selling like one chip, like that's like the
Yeah,
thing
the
that Alex
ghost
Stein
pepper.
ate, right?
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
they were selling like that same company has like bags of chips you can buy at Sheetz now. Like, I'm assuming that it's a less
Yeah.
intense
hope.
version.
Let's hope.
For when you don't want to be invited for the next barbecue.
Yeah, basically, right?
Just drop it in the Doritos.
That should be a crime.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not. It's like I watch old movies and they're like, I spiked the punch. I'm like, you do know that's like illegal.
Yeah,
that would be like illegal, right?
Yeah, nowadays. Yeah.
All right, there's one more $10 one there from Victor Von Derp.
He said, the coolest thing about Oliver Anthony is he said that was his first time singing into a real microphone and a real camera. Performed that to an audience of 3, his 2 dogs, and the cameraman.
There you go. That's
I
good.
wonder what it cost him to film that.
Yeah.
Because if it was his first time recording, like those are like it's quality stuff. So
Yeah.
I wonder like he had someone come out to do it and film and do
The
audio
dogs,
at the same
I mean.
time too.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Well, because it's at his house, right? So they had
Yeah.
to run cables to either
Electricity at
Yeah.
the very least, you know.
All right. Well, actually, no, because I asked Mary, it's like, did this sound dubbed to you? It didn't sound dubbed to
No,
me.
he recorded it. If you listen real close in the beginning, you can hear crickets and stuff. You can hear the bugs in the
cicadas in the background. I mean, I guess you could dub that in, but
you could, but I don't think that was done.
All right, Phil, let everyone know where they can find you.
Oh, hey, I'm Phil Labonte. I am Phil That Remains on X. I am Phil That Remains Official on Instagram. The band is All That Remains. You can follow us on Instagram. You can find us on Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, and over on the YouTube.
Perfect. Mary, where can they find you?
you can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on Twitter or X. That is also Mary Archived. Right now, there's pizza in the green room, and I'm very excited.
Let's freaking go. Guys, by the way, I have included the social media the social media profiles for the guests, which I have started to include in all the episodes. So thank you for that request, guys. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you'd like to listen to the audio version of this podcast, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. And if you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twitter/X at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We will be back with another episode with Christian tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.
Later. I really can't wait for that Brony movie.